It's okay. It's okay. Off your mic. It's okay. Off your mic.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don't off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go summer us, call them hate speech. But fear not, Maiyegun don't come. Him go torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we laugh, yo. Maiyegun don't come, yo. My people make we shout, yo. Maiyegun don't come, yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, yo. Maiyegun don't come, yo. Politico, Maiyegun don't come, This one not the off in mind. Maiyegun don't come, and in the touchlight every corner. Maiyegun don't come, Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. See them talk say make we off mind, but thank God say Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you ladder.
The preacher. So if you are expecting the congregation to come on and arrive one by one, two by two, so we do give them time, because a lot of people are not going to start with us. Immediately we go live. And that is why we give everyone time to join us, settle down, and then we go straight into it. So if you are watching a replay on MaiyegunsDiary Politico and you don't like the music, because the music itself is a message, if you listen to it very well. But if you are the type that's, so impatient, or you are watching from Nigeria, okay, I don't think watching Maiyegun use the first 10 minutes to get everyone or majority of the people to have joined, okay? So, but don't worry. There will be short clips for the people who don't have that too much attention span. Those who can really, And on MaiyegunsDiary Politico, it is very, very expressive. I am very, very expressive. And that simply means I present my program not like your scripted regular TV or social media stuff, okay? I present my program by telling story. And if you are the type who don't like, this one a story. So your attention span may not be for this platform, okay? Or if you give it time, you're going to love it. Yeah. Just sequence it, see how you join and all that. So I could go on. I may be talking about something about this microphone, but in order to hit home my point, I may make references by digressing. So that is why it is mostly storytelling. But a lot of people kind of love it because it gets you to understand the issue kind of better, like by putting yourself in the picture and imagine how is it going to be like if you are the one that is being talked about in this instance. Oh, on this platform, in this community, sorry about that, we have managed to keep people's consciousness active. And I promise you, a lot of people appreciate that. So if you give it time, I'm talking to those who are new now. If you give it time, you will love it. Because a lot of people believes they know Nigeria, but they don't. Even myself, I thought I knew Nigeria, but I didn't. Until I actually paid enough to detail, not just riding and flying on the words of politicians, of your pastorpreneurs, of your sheikh, imams, and the rest of them, or babalawo, mamalawo, or those you call the elder statesmen. And that is why they said, if Nigeria is explained to you, to your better understanding, and you are not angry, no, it wasn't properly explained to you. A lot of Nigerians have questions based on the little they know, and everywhere they speak the same tongue of, yeah, our problem is leadership. Oh, our people are too poor. In fact, you know, managing to connect the dots. But not many have been able to put themselves in the picture. You know us, the moment we can have an alternative, and no matter how horrible things that are being reported, as long as it is yet to affect us, well, we can meet on Sunday for Thanksgiving, for the grace of God. So what we do on this platform is to go beyond and above the headlines, the stories, most of them including busting the propaganda of those who have failed in their responsibility as government. So that's what we do on this platform. So it can be boring, and sometimes people say it can be depressing, not by myself, but because of what they come to realize or understand. Answers to majority of your questions. So we now believe that the moment we are all conscious enough, whether you are rich or not rich, poor or not poor, whether you are educated or not that educated, right? Whether you are so exposed, well-traveled, or you are local, it doesn't matter. The moment our consciousness becomes so active politically, you remember I told you on this platform that you need to pay attention to politics, because politics decides and determines everything. Government, apologies to you, the religious people, because I do not mean to sort of condescend, okay? And I want you to please take that apology from the sincere part of me, okay? About what I'm about to say. It is not to condescend on you, all right? Government is more powerful than whatever God that you believe in, with evidence. And again, I'm not trying to undermine your belief in God, okay? With evidence. A government can wipe out and criminalize even that your religion. You can be jailed, you can be killed the moment somebody says that your religion is no longer acceptable. And your God cannot save you. Now, just that. Then a government, when you see if you understand what a government means, like a system, they have to be the ones to decide the standard or the quality of education, then access to it. Who will have access to what education? Government will determine that. Your government will determine when you are born and when you are dead. Yeah, they issue you birth certificates and they issue you death certificates, Abi. Also, a government has so much power, right, that it's the one that can only, that issues you your currency, the one that buys you everything you might desire. Now, the quality of people that goes into government, they really, really matter. And that is why where people are spending so much, despite their education or exposure, but they are still so much drowning in the bigotry, ethnicism, and religious fanaticism, where poverty, sort of thrives. And the amount of their education could not curb or end poverty or all these maladies facing Nigeria, because they are so invested in things that has no real value to them in reality. And they will kill themselves for it. So now, if people are conscious enough that you can still be very godly, religious, and at the same time sensible, without having to be a fighter for God, a strong fighter for God, who is so lazy to fight for himself, even in the face of a brazen oppression, it's because that faithful person or religious person is not politically conscious. The government's policy will destroy education. It will destroy your businesses. It will destroy your hard work. Your effort will be so devalued by people who can't create wealth. And that is how important. That is why you see people who goes into government in Nigeria, they will foam in mouth, tell you how ethnicism has divided us. Religions has sort of divided us. Tribalism is our problem. But when you look at their modus operandi, this is the source of their power. They promote them. They sponsor them. They ensure that people remain divided as much as possible. Even within a small enclave called states, you see so much monumental division orchestrated by politicians because you have allowed criminals to be in charge of your government, making critical decisions that are affecting millions of lives, while millions of people are so religiously conscious. They are so tribally, angered or triggered. But meanwhile, the poverty that is facing everybody is not sparing anyone. Whether you are a Christian or a Muslim, a Northerner, a Southerner, a Yoruba, Igala, Isoko, Nupe, Tifi, Berom, Jokun, Hausa, Fulani, and wherever, then Igbo, or Ijo, Ishekiri, wherever you come from, you can live in denial. The moment you walk outside, you will see the failure of different criminals that has taken or been in charge of every institution in that contraption. Some people believe there are exceptions. How? When you have majority of the criminals you put in your system have empowered, they have managed to arrogate so much power to themselves that they have become so powerful and more powerful than the people they were supposed to be representing. So then some people want to do the right thing within that. But you can tell from the north to the south, from the east to the west, everywhere the poverty stares you in the face, the insecurity scares you to death. right? The dilapidated infrastructures ranging from roads to rail to schools to hospitals to important infrastructures are so much depleted because you have allowed criminals that have used the biases of your tribe, the bias of your ethnic, your religion, and so many other sundry stuff to cower you and kept you divided so that they can continue to keep power. Political consciousness. The moment a lot of you begin to understand that everything is political and even your religion is also political, and the moment you are so conscious enough, the less you'll be played or be vulnerable to be played. And that is why you are on MaiyegunsDiary Politico, where you are going to be reading beyond the headlines. And you are also going to be seeing the characters parading themselves as those in charge of Nigeria, ridicule themselves. Embarrass some of you to the point that you laugh to scorn in most cases, right? These are the clowns who are going to determine and decide what your future, my future will be like if we continue to stay aloof or maybe pretend that if it is not happening to me, maybe it is just being exaggerated. No, it is not. Now, here is another part. A lot of us have different solutions to what we believe could help to save our species. The first discovery is that Nigeria is a lie. And there is no amount of denial that is going to change this lie to truth. But the main question you should ask yourself is this. If Nigeria was to be a great country, okay, as they tell you that Nigeria will be great one day, if Nigeria was to be a great country, in your own opinion, I'm not trying to, I want you to kind of feel neutral now, what I'm about to push to you, okay? If Nigeria was to be a country, shouldn't Nigerians have a say in that foundation? Okay, you don't have to answer that, all right? But here is the next one. Have you, by any means, seen any country created by the colonialists that are still practicing, okay, maybe not the French ones who have now liberated themselves somehow, right? Have you seen any, probably the British created countries, okay, that still kind of exist on the template of the minority, feeling the entitlement to control the majority as a means of balance of power? Do you? Okay, you don't also have to answer that, because sometimes some of these questions, right, they are rhetorical questions. They answer themselves. You are likely going to say no, or maybe yes with examples. But let me put it this way. Nigeria has over 250 identified ethnic nationalities and tribes. So let's kind of break that down for the layman's understanding. Tribes are the small group of people, okay, who speaks the same language, culture, right? Ethnic when they say ethnic group, this is like the group of tribes which shares a lot in common, like language, culture, tradition, maybe religion, and they may have a lot, or again, because they also shares ancestral, affinity with themselves in a particular geographical settlement. An example is this: when they say Igbos, within the Igbos, you are going to see other smaller tribes, okay, who are part and parcel of Igbo people as a larger body of the Igbos. Another one is the Yorubas. When you look at the Yorubas, the Yorubas are the conglomeration of tribes who share so much in common. And for so long, historically, right, and with this affinity and land and all that, right, they've existed as kingdoms. As kingdom before the advent of the colonialist. So within Yoruba land, for example, you will see the Ijebus, you see the Oyos, the Egbas, you will see the Ekitis, you will see the Ondos, you will see the Oshuns, and you will see people also from the Ikales, the Eguns, and this conglomeration of us, right? Dialects is what makes us a little bit differ. And that is the tongue, which a lot of us call the accent, kind of, the dialect of how I'm going to pronounce a bottle. So what another person who is also a Yoruba will pronounce a bottle. No, because of this, right? You can now say, oh, the Hausas, you have the Hausas, okay? Within the Hausas, you have other tribes within the Hausas who identify as a body of a kingdom of Hausas. You have the Kanuris. Within that space of the Kanuris, you also, like that. These are like ethnic groups, right? But within them, they have different tribes that they share affinity in lands, language, religion, tradition, and so many. This is why they said, if Nigeria, breaking up of Nigeria, okay, is to say all of us that are forced to this contraption today. And if you want to know how this contraption is in fact created based on the political arrangement of the British, let me remind you. You see the Adamawa you see today, who is part of Nigeria today, is originally supposed to be under the French Cameroon. And you see today's Bakassi Peninsula, Southern Cameroon. You see the entire Southern Cameroon where they speak English is supposed to be part of Nigeria today. But because when Uthman Dan Fodio staged his jihad against the leaders of the Hausas in 1807 or thereabout, when the jihad started, and the Fulanis accused the Hausa leaders of being corrupt and ungodly, through elites who just want to enjoy while their people suffer. So the jihad succeeded in the part of Hausa land. There is a part called which is the Gobir, the old Gobir, and some of us call it Gogobiri or Gobir. So Gobir is where they now situated, they call Sokoto today. Now you see that jihad is even like, it's kind of only partially succeeded in Hausa land. It did not get to Borno. You see that Borno, Bamunda, all those areas, they were supposed to be part of the old Cameroon because they resisted the Fulani then. Now, when the British came, they slowed down the the Borno people rejected them and defeated them. The Middle Belt and the Berom, the TVs, the Jukuns that are now fighting themselves today, they bonded together, defeated Uthman Dan Fodio. It was actually that fight that killed him. Now, British came. When British came, it was actually through conquest, okay? That was how they conquered the northern part of Nigeria, including the Borno Empire, okay? So what did they do? The British now, in order to create a northern Nigeria, okay, they had an agreement with the Fulanis, kind of like, we'll leave you to do your thing. We are not going to touch that. So you continue ruling the people the way you want. And then as long as we get what we want as well, then we are fine. That was the arrangement. But you know, the British now ended the Borno Empire, which cuts beyond today's Borno, Nigeria, and spread to the other part of the Adamawa, the northern Cameroon. The British, having got that, right? Or sorry, they bought it. In fact, they actually bought that from the Cameroon by renegotiating, the Borno Empire that falls into part of Nigeria. Now, here's why. The Fulani Jihad couldn't proceed to capture any other land. So when British came, they kind of settled with the Fulani. Okay, you know what? We're not going to touch anything you are doing here, okay? But we're going to create or try to bring all these other countries, because they were supposed to be their own countries. I'm going to bring them all and fuse them and create a northern Nigeria, right? And creating a northern Nigeria means the Fulani Sultan, which happened to be the grandson of Uthman Dan Fodio, was kind of like put in charge this time around, including the land that his grandfather, Uthman Dan Fodio, could not conquer. So British gave that control and said, this is northern Nigeria. So they bought that part of northern Cameroon, added it to Nigeria to create the northern Nigeria, the biggest, so that it can suit the arrangement of northern Nigeria is more populated than the south. And therefore, they will give them the power to control the government. But down south, the Bakassi Peninsula, Calabar, down to the southern Cameroon, to this part of southern Cameroon, they were originally part and parcel of southern Nigeria. But in order to whittle down the power or the strength of the southern Nigeria they wanted to create, they decided to give independence to southern Cameroon. And when it was time for them to cede it to France, they did not even blink. They just gave them to France. That is why the southern part of Cameroon today, they speak English, because until 1947, 48, they were part of Nigeria. But when they were scheming for independence of Nigeria, southern part of Cameroon today, being part of southern Nigeria, will continue to give southern Nigeria the edge which they have had in education, they've had in secretariat management, government business, and the rest of that, which northern Nigeria didn't have. They did not open the northern part of this Nigeria they were scheming and putting together. They did not open it up to the rest of southern Nigeria until 1952 or 1953, just few years before independence. So what am I trying to bring up here? British created this arrangement to suit an agenda that never for once secured the consent of all of the fused countries. And since then, they said we should go and make it work. It's been 64 years. Generations, millions have been killed. And millions have been born into poverty. More millions are going to be born into poverty, because they forced us to live together and try to make it work. Now, we can make it work if there is actually a platform where all of us can come together put our different, our different demands together and say, this is going to be our demand if we are to still be part of this union. At least for the first time, let the people kind of have a say and say, okay, yeah, we want to be part of it, or we don't want to be part of it. This conversation is what they don't want us to have. And that is why so many chancers, past and present, continue to tell us that they know the problem of Nigeria. They will fix it. And every now and then they say they will fix it. They dip us or dig us into more problems. And every of the problem actually claim lives. You are watching me right now because it hasn't claimed yours. But we are all just awaiting victims. All of us are going to die. Normally we are going to die. But people have died. People who shouldn't have died in Nigeria. People are dying every day. People that could have been saved. You get what I mean? Violently. A lot of people are dying in poverty in such a way that, people that could be saved with just ordinary, in today's value, just ordinary $10 could have kept a lot of people alive. And many more are still going to die. Children, women. The violence is everywhere. Because some characters are in charge, making decisions. And their decisions continue to put my life, your life in danger. But they want you and me to continue to tear ourselves apart on who is more supreme. Is it the Christians that are more supreme? Oh, it's the Islam. The God of Muslims is the best. Oh, the God of Christians is the best. Oh, it is the Fulani that are powerful. It is the Yorubas that is this. It is, we can keep up with that until a lot of us will become the victims, right? But I won't keep quiet. And that is why you are watching me. All right? So it can be boring. But the point here is this. We all have our different solutions to what we think should be done. I believe personally that there's nothing new that anybody is going to tell me about Nigeria. Because my own definition of Nigerian politicians is that these are people who created problems, and then they offer to solve the problem. In the course of them solving the problem, then they will create more problems so that they will have more reasons to want to solve more problems. And I think this is the pattern all over the world, but it depends on the type of problems you are orchestrating for your people. Problems that keeps them in poverty shouldn't be anything or any kind of playbook for anyone who wants to be patriotic. So when people throw the card of patriotism, it is very good to remind them that you have to invest in the people if you want them to be patriotic. And at this junction, we all must believe one thing. You must stand for something. I believe that the only thing we have not tried is what seemed to work for us before the whole thing got truncated. And I have sort of observed myself of something that whenever I am reading the history of Nigeria, who did what, why, when, the points I should be looking for as a student of history is to learn from that history so that I won't have to repeat them. A lot of us today are not students of history. We are prisoners of history. A lot of us still carries the hate that gave birth to where we are today. And everyone has his own story to tell. It's like we are carrying on. And this seems to be the full definition of no winner, no vanquish after the genocidal war perpetrated by the genocidists who went on to reward themselves, never to sort of, found a place of what you can call resolution, not just that, restitution too. They went on to pretend that nothing happened. And Nigeria never recovered from that. So yeah, they have tried a lot. You have tried parliamentary, it got truncated by military and political crisis. Then you tried military, it all flopped. You went back to democracy, flopped again, tried military, flopped again. Then you tried the interim government, that flopped again. You went back to military, that also flopped again. Then you came back to democracy and it's about to flop again. What are you going to go back to next? Military. No, I do not believe that. You see, that conversation they don't want us to have is the conversation you and I and the generation that is now being born must ensure that they have. Why are we in this contraption? Who brought us here? And who says we can't actually have a chat or a renegotiation of this? How many lives do we actually have to sacrifice or kill? How many dreams do we have to destroy or kill before we all come back to our senses that we could actually go back and try something that the worst case scenario, go back and try something that worked for us then. Let everybody control their own affair. Let the Igbos control their own affairs. Raise their own taxes and then, build their own economy. Let them dredge their own river and call it their own seaport. Let them build things for themselves in a way that at least you won't continue to pretend and say nobody is holding them when we all know that the entire system is holding them. Let the Yorubas also, let's face our own people. And maybe at worst case scenario, when everybody goes back to their own different regions, we are regionalists. Guys, there's nothing called one Nigeria. It's a fraud. The whole idea is just to make sure that all of us would have to actually do things according to the 7.7% Fulanis in Nigeria. And the robbery there too. If you are a Fulani watching me, if you are politically conscious, it will be time for you to begin to reject these criminals too. They have used you for far too long. The poorest people in Nigeria today are Fulanis. And don't give me that bullshit about, they are rich. Don't give me that nonsense. They were supposed to be those in power in Nigeria. But they have built a system whereby intentionally, systemically, they have been so incapacitated. They are the poorest in Nigeria. The next poorest people in Nigeria are the Bayersans. Can you even imagine that? The Ijaws. Can the Ijaws even believe that watching me right now? Can you not even feel like impossible? It's a lie. But I'm saying the truth. And all of us share in the ratio of this poverty. So it's not working for everybody. It's not working for anybody. You being a Fulani and see how the entire system is rigged against you. But in your name, in the name of your own tribe, the entire Nigeria is up in arms, while the criminals who pretend to be Fulani, Hausa, this other. In fact, some of them who are not even Fulani, they pretend to be Fulani since they are from northern Nigeria, because that's exactly how they believe they could get away with anything. But go and look at the real Fulanis. Go and look at the Fulanis in their different communities. You will find them and come back and tell me that it actually reflects on them. The northerners. I am a northerner. We are born to rule. No, you are born to suffer. If you are politically conscious enough, you will see this, that you have no other enemy than those who have been using your name to rob the rest of Nigeria in cahoot with their friends from other parts of Nigeria. So nobody is kind of enjoying anything. Eh? The entire system is created and saturated with so much grift. You know, grifters, they call them. Criminals who kind of are living off, their meal ticket is to say they are Fulanis, they are Northerners, they are this, they are Muslims. But go and look at the poverty basket of Nigeria. And then you will see, you realize that these guys don't represent you. But because you are not politically conscious enough, you have been told the Yorubas are your enemy. The Igbos are your enemy. This one is your enemy. That one is your enemy. If they are coming, they will come and kill you. But the people that are supposed to actually protect you, they don't really give a damn. They will kill you first. So you need to stand for something. I stand for the breakup of Nigeria. And I will stand by that anytime, any day. And I believe there is already an army that is being mobilized consciously. You know, I told you that the breakup of Nigeria is not going to be because I want it or because you don't want it. It is going to be solely on the criminals you continue to allow into the system. Let them continue to divide you, Igbo versus Yoruba, Igbo versus Fulani, Fulani versus this and that. And then you realize that one of these days, you will be a pro-Biafra. You will be a pro-Yoruba nation. You will be a pro-Kwararafa Republic, the Middle Beltans. You will be a pro-Arewa Republic. It is their failure that will break Nigeria up. And that's why sometimes when I give you my message, I tell you that Nigeria has created a lot of force. The failure of these criminals has created a lot of force that are currently wandering about in disagreement with this contraption called Nigeria. Even those of you who want one Nigeria, you don't want this Nigeria, do you? At least a lot of you are complaining. Which kind of country is this? How this our leader? We're supposed to kill our leaders. That means you disagree with this current Nigeria. Abi? So simply put, you are being pushed slowly, steadily to the camp of break it up. Once they begin to do the right thing, the idea of Biafra, the idea of Yoruba nation, the other ideas of this, they can begin to be diluted. Because people will begin to feel like, oh, if we have Biafra, is this not what we are going to do? Run our own government, do our own things our way. Why don't we just run our own self for a while before we have Biafra? Kind of a thing. Abi? But this one that they are turning yourselves versus yourselves, and they are stealing and looting the country. The education, the healthcare of young people are being compromised. The future is here already. So the implosion is just a matter of time. The breakup of Nigeria is a matter of time. What we are trying to do is to try and see to it not being violent and bloody. But save for these criminals, they will want us to burn ourselves, kill ourselves before Nigeria finally break up. But with the politically conscious people, you will not give them that. We will go after them. Because you see, day by day, they are already helping different groups to recruit the army of liberators, those that would demand for the breakup of Nigeria. But politically conscious people are concerned that if a revolution is going to happen, this revolution has to happen from within first, the revolution of the mind. Where your mind is so clear, not polluted with hate, tribal, jingoism, religious fanaticism, all those things, where your vision is clear. When people scream revolution, 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 sit them down, ask them to explain to you, what do you mean revolution? And can you really tell what would this revolution be about? Majority have no answer. Their own idea of revolution is, let us clear out this our leader away. Let us get rid of them. We need to fight them. It is just a campaign of rage with no clarity. But with the politically conscious people who have a clearer idea of what they are going to demand for, then with these politically conscious people as an army that can take a stand and make an effect, until we have that army, which I strongly believe that we will have, these criminals are not going to change. If you them, they will never stop. And the more they do this, the more a lot of you are going to join us. But for those who don't believe in outright breakup of Nigeria, I respect them. Like I said, stand up for something. Try it. When you stand for something, it is so possible that at the end of the day, you may actually, your own group may actually be the trigger point that the rest of other angry, politically conscious, clear-minded individual groups would also activate. And that's why I encourage that. Do not condemn those who have taken a stand, even if the stand is totally opposite to what you think is the solution. Do not help Thiefnubu and gang to gaslight those who are standing up for something, because it is always their easy peasy thing to infiltrate any group they consider a threat to the establishment. And you must see, when people come together to face an establishment, right, you must see beyond the individual that is the head of the rod. And that is one easy way to get you to disarm and say, they just want to gang up against Thiefnubu. No. Don't ever fall for that. Thiefnubu is just one guy. There are thousands who are using the rotten system to perpetuate the level of never seen before criminality, crimes against humanity, robbing you of your future, of your life. So when you want to talk about establishment, you must not say Thiefnubu, because that could be anybody. If Thiefnubu drag his feet, he could be there for 8 years if you let him. And they will do shege to you until you stop them. Tomorrow it could be somebody else. The establishment produces criminals, and that is what has to go. The establishment from the ward level to the presidential level. It is the system that created them. That system will continue to shun out tens of thousands of those rogues who are leeches. That is what has to go. And anybody who has a sort of an inkling of anything that could trigger it, don't condemn them. Okay? Sometimes even if you feel like they are not doing it right, yeah, I would rather just keep quiet. Because they're doing something, right, could mean us and what we are doing as well, even be valuable too. Because at the end of the day, now everybody will still come together and face their fear. And that is that establishment. So that is what will now bring me to they talk of this alliance. This is the first time I am actually like speaking from the heart. So why you have to take this, this community more serious than us trying to just want to talk. Because we are not just talking. Okay? What we do here reflects on the lives, the real life issues of people. And some of them will watch, others won't. Okay? So, Atiku came out. Let's not forget, Peter Obi is actually yet to say anything. And this is simply because he has the obedient. Now, Atiku has told the world that is pretty much willing to work with all interested parties to come together to come and remove Thiefnubu. I do not agree with that. I do not condemn it. And this is where and what all of us must, if you genuinely believe that Nigeria is done for, something has to happen and be done before the whole thing implode. I am not saying done to save Nigeria. Nobody can save Nigeria. But this is just for those of you who still believe in Nigeria. And to those of you who don't believe in Nigeria too. Oh, my pen is not working. There's something I actually wanted to list out for what I'm about to say. A lot of us, I'll start with those of us who don't believe in this one Nigeria, new Nigeria, or any other name some of you are giving it. There's nothing new that we have never heard. And the reason why everything will end point of lamentation is because there is a system that is intentionally put in place to ensure that you will be represented by the worst among you. But that can be corrected. And that is for those of you who believe in, still believe that Nigeria could be remedied. Nigeria cannot be remedied the way you want to. Or maybe your action can trigger what will eventually lead to the bigger conversations. That's why I'm saying this now, right? We don't believe in Nigeria because we don't believe in a system that you have one center that is so powerful that it can decide the fate of the rest of us. Okay? So we don't believe that. And that's what Nigeria represents. We don't believe that, we don't believe in a system that one person is going to come. The idea of if one person can come and destroy a system, another person can come and rebuild that system for the betterment of others. But because we have seen that before, okay? We have seen a situation whereby they ran Nigeria aground and another regime came and rebuilt it. Then he left, another one came and destroyed it. And many others came after and ruin and destroyed. You see all this ruinous and destructive history. They actually claimed lives of people. There are those whose trajectory of life got destroyed because of all these successive criminal governments in Nigeria. So we then said, okay, if you want to make Nigeria, you still want to keep Nigeria, then let everybody come together and say, okay, this is going to be the terms for us to still be part of this Nigeria. among that term is that autonomous, autonomy for all the regions who want it. There's nothing called federal government that is going to be controlling anybody. Here you get. So that is the least Nigeria. Those of us who don't believe in Nigeria, that's the least, the closest. We would like to be part of that contraption. The closest where autonomy is, and you know what I mean? So because we don't believe, I don't believe that. Doesn't also mean that in my own world, I'm not far left and far right. I'm kind of in between, whereby I will be logical that, okay, could you possibly project a system that could eventually emerge where all this kind of conversation could be had? Then I can give you a benefit of the doubt, right? But for those of you who believe in one Nigeria, okay, here the problem is the system, not actually the person in charge, all right? We've seen it before, and we are seeing it right now under Thiefnubu and gang. So we believe that if the entire system is dismantled, somebody like Peter Obi can be the premier of Eastern region. And now, if it's going to be like your picture of one Nigeria, of equity, fairness, and just system, right? Then you would, number one, to me, is like a delusion, okay? But out of respect, I also have to tell you that your one Nigeria dream of making Obi maybe president is going to actually come from the area of compromise. You would have to like to pretend that the thieves are not in the room. Can you do that? Yeah. You would have to pretend that the destroyers of Nigeria, they are not that bad after all. Obedience. You would have this alliance talk to those of you who kind of support it. And without it, nothing can really happen. Okay, nothing can really happen. But I'm just saying. So you have to like thieves. You know, some of you would have to come here. You know, you like me now. So some of you will probably not comfortable me calling a Atiku. You get that kind of thing, right? You will have to like, you know, pretend that they are not that bad. Can you do that? Now, if you are dreaming of any alliance with these guys, you would have to agree that a lot of them would have to use Peter Obi as a vehicle back to power. And you would have to be instrumental to that. So now when you take a look at it that way, then you can also kind of roll it back a little bit as well, that in such meetings, it would have to guarantee them that they could keep their loot. Do you understand what that means, alliance? That we are going to do everything. We're going to talk to the emirs. We're going to talk to all of these guys. We're going to ensure that you are next. And yeah, they would have to play dirty, rough, and all that. So you would have to kind of, I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I am saying, if what attracted you to Peter Obi, that you believe as a man, if he has that chance and the power that the president wills, like you believe in Nigeria, okay, he could turn things around. All right. So if you are attracted to him that way, you would have to get used to accepting all of the corruption allegation, the criminalities of all these guys that are going to come on board. Okay. What will happen, right? Now, here is what Atiku is suffering. After meeting with Obi, he said PDP will decide his fate, but on his own, as an individual, he is ready to step down for Peter Obi in 2027 if PDP, abi the alliance, zone the ticket to Southeast. And Southeast people choose Obi. That's a little bit trickery, isn't it? It's kind of like a two-edged sword. I'm talking to you now, you the obedient and the admirers of Obi, because you are actually a very powerful bloc. Now, they can't disrespect your man. There's no single day that tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of you do not come across something about Obi this, Obi that. Now, you see, let me tell you something about politics and publicity. There is no bad publicity. There is no good publicity. Publicity is publicity. Whether you are all talking about him going everywhere, and you are seeing him everywhere, taking pictures here, video here, traveling everywhere, and you are there condemning it, laughing at him, and all of that stuff, they keep him right there where he wants to be. He's actually a very smart guy with that. And he has the obedience to thank for it. It's always been like that in his life, everywhere, going from here to there. But the obedient have now given life to his presence. So he's he's the most powerful politician from Nigeria as of today. I know. Your description of a powerful politician is going to be different. But in reality, he's the most talked about individual from Nigeria ever. Yes. And that is one very powerful, one powerful advantage he has. He doesn't have to pay media. He doesn't have to pay anybody. He has this army of obedience that keep tab on him every now and then. But here is the trick. There are obedients who believe that Obi could go it alone because they have the number. But there are those who have told them, don't be naive. You would have to team up with others like the corrupt ones you don't like. And teaming up with them is not just your Obi being president, and he can be the president of thieves. Do you know that? And I keep telling you, Nigeria is not Anambra. But here is why I am telling you all of this, because they are taking a stand and they have millions of people, and it doesn't really matter what you and I say. That is why whether you want to condemn them for the alliance or you want to praise them for their alliance and all of that, it won't really matter. They have their supporters, they have their followers, and as it stands, they are already taking positions. But what you are watching now is just, maybe I can help you, all right, to understand what you are about to get yourself into, or what your love for Obi will actually do to you. Yeah, it will meet with these guys. And when you want to form an alliance, there are some underhand deals that he has to agree to. I'm not talking about sharing. No. He doesn't have his president, doesn't have to share money. It's not like state governors. No. There are some stuffs called concessions. Part of them could be immunity from investigation, prosecution, and they will be there to continue to cause a scandal and all that. And if it is all about getting to power, with the destruction of Nigeria at this stage, where it could be a candidate that they will push, but the system that is about to become your president, or is going to run to want to be your president, is so faulty that even if they rig it for him, because that's the only way. You understand that now? It's going to be like, I'm not saying that is not, I'm saying Nigeria elections is not elections. It is who can rig best. Let the best rig and win. You understand that now? Who can bribe best? And it's not about who votes. It is about who counts the votes. You know that. And who pays who to declare what? So these are a few things you have to know, that it would have to kind of settle in and compromise a lot. And yeah, he can be the president of thieves. But here is about the system. Before leading millions of you into this journey of let us rescue Nigeria again, take a look at these characters, Atiku and the rest of them. If they have concluded and say, for Nigeria not to break up, let us kind of package this OB this time around. It's popular, it's everywhere. And now Thiefnubu is failing, it's a disaster. So let's just tell him that he would only do 4 years. Yeah, that's how ridiculous they can be. Okay? Oh, he's going to do 4 years and he will hand over to them the Fulani North. And that could be a foundation for something, right? Where the entire system can then, they will regroup again and then come after him and all that. And you will be the instrument that they will use to legitimize that. And you will be happy. Obi is president now. 3-4 months after that, all of them will begin the stage protest. And just like that, all of your Obi this, Obi that would have been kind of ruined, and then they will position themselves. So why not, instead of, alliance is good, okay? Like I said the last time, alliance is good for those of you pursuing your one Nigeria, okay? But what about they start with the demand for a new constitution for Nigeria? Opposition can do that. There are oppositions all over the world who have demanded a new constitution before any election. How about you start from that? Where you begin to kind of give the people the sense of belonging, that they could actually have input and write a new constitution that defines separation of power enough that, including the independence of your umpire, INEC. Like, use that number, use this alliance to stage this nationwide what have you. Demand for that, change it, and then you can then begin the process of selecting people that will then run for office based on this new constitution that can screen out drug dealers, that can screen out condemned criminals, that can screen out money launderers, human traffickers, organ traffickers, all these criminals who are now the ones making laws, who are now the honorables, distinguished senators for you, excellencies. You can have a constitution that could clear all of them out. They never even dare. Once they come close, on Lord Shewani, you go pick a form, you be drug dealer, you go pick up a form, say you want to be governor. They swear for you, they go jail. Now, when you do that, half or more than half of those who are preparing for 2027, they will automatically be disqualified because of their criminal records and their past. Now, you have thrown down the whole thing with that. So the system will then take care of itself. If you now go, your election doesn't have to be perfect, but it can actually be true representation of the people. But the entire system is rigged up to the judiciary level. No rule of law, no nothing, which is what is affecting your economy today. Nobody is going to invest in a country that has no rule of law. A court where somebody can just phone a judge and the judge can just give a judgment against your company, and that's it. Your money is gone. Nobody want to go there. A country that cannot conduct election, that the whole world saw, nobody wants to really go there. So you can use your number of opposition, alliance, and demand for this. No new constitution, no election. So that you can rebuild the real thing, that maybe true representatives of the people can emerge, and if they fail, they can easily be eased out. The system. Maybe if you do something like that, that can kind of probably rebuild, the interest of it to say, okay, maybe All of this can be done within 2 years. Not this your negotiation. They are just negotiating about who is going to be president, who is going to be vice, who is going to be this, who is going to be that. You know what I mean? Like, that's what they are negotiating. And like somebody said that we shouldn't really put it on OB yet, because he's the only person who is yet to make any statement. But I saw Takia, Atiku laying out how it's going to be. I mean, I wasn't expecting any merger, Labour Party and the PDP. What the hell? The last time, this guy, Pat Utomi, spoke on this, he said they were looking to start something on a fresher, blah, 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 blah. So maybe he lied. Because Atiku is saying, now PDP go determine if the PDP is pretty much asking Peter Obi to bring you the obedient and bring you to PDP so that they will absorb you. Now he's now then giving conditions why he will not contest election. And he is ready to step down for Obi only if PDP zone it to Southeast. And the people of Southeast, PDP Southeast, chooses Obi. You see that condition? So the alliance talk is absolute crap now. But now because then Atiku could see the talk. So more will live on like that. Because which PDP? Is it with the weakest PDP? Or Atiku's PDP? Because I don't know which of the PDP. Now, mentioning with the Wike in this regard, he has returned back to Rivers State, and he said he was there, and he promised that he is going to punish Fubara, and none of you will see it. As part of his tantrum that I kind of love to share here, let's kind of go spend about 15-20 minutes in Rivers State. According to Fubara, from his last statement was with the people of Calabari. Is it called Calabari? Yeah, the Calabari people. Fubara said, with a Wike with his band, commissioning uncompleted projects, on paid balance of those projects, and he's kind of doing something right now where he's completing and paying off, he's paying off the balance of some of the projects. So he said some of the construction companies that were the Wike awarded the road projects to in Rivers State, that were the Wike did not really pay them the money, and some of them are now asking for their money. Here is one of them, and how much he's asking for from Fubara. And there are so many others who also sent in their, he's owing us this, he didn't pay us, he just told us to hang on. Why were the Wike was doing Father Christmas everywhere? Well, Wike was in Rivers State. He returned back to Rivers State yesterday. And returning to Rivers State, they said where the Wike was like, they are just trying to tarnish my name, my image. I am not called Mr. Project for nothing. That Fubara has no project of his own to show the people in the last 1 year. He's only showing with the Wike's projects that he completed. And Wike is claiming that he paid for everything. Fubara said, no, he didn't, with evidence. But let's go to that River State. For those of you who have had Wike with you in the last 48 hours or the last 24 hours, okay? Here is part of that.
You saw, hey, how that came. I know not assembly. Who is that? Who born monkey? Who born monkey? As you look me here, I get hunchback here. As you see me, you know, just I stand like this. I think well, not so. I didn't think well. You see, I came with Senator MaiyegunDiary, not so. I work with people who get brain, not so. see, in politics, when people will get brain, disagree, they agree. They agree, they disagree, not so, because they get a brain. That's what I wanted to do. When believe say, I pass them. They said they will bring me down. Who born them? Now who will bring me down? Then they anywhere. Then they anywhere. Okay, I don't worry myself. When you are in charge, you are. When you are in charge, you are. So don't worry. See, Igalobo, we have worked together. We disagreed. I want to tell you, we disagreed. He called me on phone. I said, don't call me again. Ask him. I said, don't call me again. We must fight this fight. And let us know who will win. No, so. So when I win them, he don't call me. I say, I think I tell you this. I think I tell you that. Now two of us can work together. We don't fight. Me and you there together, sis. You want to carry my information, our strategy. Go give my enemies. Now I come build different strategy. Now I come different what? Strategy. If you know, if you don't know, premium or nothing. Premium or you know the color for Fubara. So look. Look at Melembe. Wire. Everything will calm down. All these people they see they run around. They will come down. So don't worry. So when the Igalobo came, I said we'll work. He said, oh, this appointment I gave to Boma. I started giving Boma appointment. Boma worked for his appointment. Boma showed loyalty. Boma showed commitment. And that's why God has placed him there. It's not me. The same thing with Vincent. The same thing with Arnold. Leave people who say some people emanated them. Let me quote their language. It's only God that made me. I don't know whether you people understand. Do you people understand? Some people say somebody made them. All of us here, the person who made us. My God, never so. These are the kind of people you want to compare, to come and talk to Ogu people, Ogubolo people. Is that proper? Is that proper? You want to be emitted? You want to be mated? You want to be mated? Shokolokobanko she. Shokolokobanko she. So, you don't worry. We are here. Let me also advise you. Forget about the abuse. They abuse us. Don't forget about that. You must be alive for people to abuse you. If you're that person, would that abuse you? If you're not important, would that abuse you? So don't worry yourself. If they like abuse me for money tonight, don't bother yourself. Go ahead and do your work. At the appropriate time, at that time, that day, when the result will be announced, we will know who is there. Now, don't worry yourself. We have defeated them severally. Some of them ran away to Abuja. Now I've gone to Abuja. They've run back here. Are you not seeing the way Abuja?
We're Wike. People were there. Those who are responding, yeah. Those are the victims of Were Wike's stealing and looting, mismanagement. Oh. But since the leader is around, all they have to do is just send money and bring all of them to that spot. At least everyone will go home, maybe with 1,000 naira. And we are talking about a man who, I don't know if I can say stole or mismanaged over 2 trillion naira of River State money. Unaccounted for is fighting his accountant, the person who knows where they keep the money. He's fighting him, but he strongly believes that Fubara won't tell us where they keep the money. No matter what, they are just entertaining us. But you listen to his victims cheering him on. Those are the victims of a failed country. They are everywhere. Everywhere. Just waiting for whatever the crumbs is going to be dropped for them. They can't stand there and be like, oh, this man stole over 2 trillion naira. He's standing here now. He's telling us that we should not worry next time. Like, oh, which kind of life be this? Like, just to reason them. No, they can't hate about poverty. A lot of people will tell you, but everything is not poverty, Jari. Oh. Baba, poverty ba oya we gone. Oh, understand? Majority of you, they always say, Baba, everything is not poverty. People are just dumb. People are just people are just selfish. Me really explain. A lot of you will kind of say that you are people who will watch Maiyegun without checking your data if you don't finish. Now they talk that kind of talk. Poverty, yeah, where they gonna say. Now poverty go make man, sit down for living room. They go the popo in wife. Because the best way the popo am na chief. Courtesy of him. That is why he is still being called Daddy Junior. That he is currently probably like still able to see his children. There are many people like that. That Nigeria have destroyed that way. Poverty, they go say he's a humble man, humble Oshiwo. They are telling you that you are such a very humble man. But humble werewo. But I love my people. You know what we say in Yoruba? If you no get money, another person behavior you dey carry ogbeni or humble, because any to really humble per se. You say all those bullshit that you kind of say, see, I'm just an easy person. I'm just an easy person. If not, Baba, I know what to do. Baba, you don't know what to do. Poverty will do to cripple. You know, say if you try anything. To the big thing here. So it is the fear of poverty that has created selfish, self-centered criminals that are in charge of Nigeria. They don't want to be poor. Poverty man reduce in your gunny. There are some other little things that poverty can do to you that they are not really pronounced, but now you go just sit down and say, For example, you'll be first born. Your papa just passed. You are the firstborn. You are the one that's supposed to come and call everybody to discuss how to bury your papa. Or your siblings are, let's continue, Jare. He won't mind. See, don't worry about Maiyegun. Mind. He won't mind that he's not here. Let's go ahead. Whatever we do, he will agree with it. You now come back later and say, I go and miss bury a daddy. And others are like, sorry about, no, it's okay, it's okay. I know my brothers can handle things very well. I trust them. Especially Bingpe, because Bingpe is married to Cornell. And Bingpe go buy casket. Now Bingpe go spend like about 90%. Now Bingpe said they buy the cloth where Maiyegun go wear. So what is Maiyegun's idea? Kilometers, see? And sometimes when they want to make you feel better, they don't want you. They say, you know, he's our brother. Now, all those ones are like material poverty. The other part of poverty, the other side of poverty is, what do you call it? There's one called the lack poverty. The other one is just self-centered greed poverty. The one that want to make you steal money meant for healthcare to go and buy yourself the latest automobile because you can. Take the money that is meant for hospitals, school, go and use them to build yourself a country home and begin to share 1,000 naira to those who will never have the school to send their children. Because somehow, you have to also steal enough, steal a lot, so that you can have enough to share and enough to keep for your generation unborn. And a lot of you today, you are working so hard, where these lazy, unproductive criminals in charge of your government are wasting the money, but you still share them on. They believe that they are keeping money for their unborn generation. Oh, their unborn generation can never suffer. But you now, you are doing everything and say, I'm working hard so that my own children and my unborn generation, my next generation, so they wouldn't have to face what I face. Now I've started hearing people, Indomie generation, oh, they don't talk now, say, make the next generation hustle for themselves. Oh. I cannot hustle for any coming generation. Talk about baby can hustle for Rawan. A lot of, back in the day, our own parents, they hustled. A lot of them built houses in their 20s, in their 30s. They got married, they settled down, built family. Nigeria happened to a lot of them, but they still have something to show, a lot to show. They've got properties. Some of us inherited properties. I inherited the house from my own father. Now, I have land. I haven't built a house. Here you get. So which means, if I don't build one quickly, Kofo and then our own siblings, they would have to hustle for their own I'm not sure I can work for the next generation now. Well, I'm trying, but you see those ones behind us, the Indomie generation. They talk now, say, make the next generation. Martinelli, make the next generation go hustle for the Nigeria is too hard right now for anybody to survive. Talk less of you working and they're keeping something for next generation. This is what these guys have done. And this is how they have done it. And you stand there, you praise them. But listen to the other parts. My time is gone.
Is he moving? Are you hearing? You're sure you're hearing. So, if you didn't dare, something where you don't know. Something where you don't get that. No amount of propaganda can help you. Do you understand me? So, Ogu people have shown loyalty. And I want to thank you. And continue with this. Forget about me. Forget about me. Let it be as part of your life. Let it be as part of your life. A time comes. You say, let me go because of hunger. But stand on what you believe. Your principle. You remember in 2014 to 2015 when I came to run for election to be governor, we had nobody. We had nobody, is not correct? We had nobody in government. What do you have? No. Did you have? No, I came here. You say you will stand firm. You work for it, and you work for it. Yes. Did you not win? Yes. Did you not win? What are you afraid of anybody? What can you do? As a governor, I had a problem. I had a federal government that was hostile to us, that was hostile to me. Did you not succeed? Did you not succeed? Did you not win? Some people are looking for excuses. Excuses. If you know you cannot do something, say you cannot do something. At that appropriate time, people will speak on projects in the state. Who will speak? People will tell you who did this, who did this. And not people who come now to come and claim what they didn't do. Or we continue to support your people. Your politicians have done well. Senator John Thompson Sokibo has done well. The mere fact, when we are playing this politics, have you ever seen me on television abuse Senator John Thompson Sokibo? No. Have you ever? No. Has he ever abused me one day? No. Has he ever? Don't worry these buccaneers. I know how to handle them. I know how to handle them. Leave them for me. They have been my children all this world. I will continue to handle them. Leave the work for me. So let's work together. And I pray the spirit of power and money will not change our brother Boba. He has shown loyalty, he has shown leadership. I want to all of you to continue to pray for him. Because it is not easy to be in power and then you don't begin to bring excuses of how everyday pressure. Did you understand me? When you want to do bad, it's a too much pressure on you. They say you should bring 10 billion, 20 billion, 100 billion. You are not to run away from fulfilling the promises you made to people. To those who sat down, look at all the council chairmen, look at all the assembly members. These are young men whom I talked to, spoke to, said, listen, all this thing for the interest of all of us, do it. And they all did it. Today, somebody says they are nobody. Will you accept that? No. Will you accept that? No. Look at assembly people sat down in their very constituencies. You never brought a dime. I never knew you were so rich. I never knew your father was the managing director of a Shell before. That now you are feeding assembly people, paying their children's school fees. I never knew that. I never knew that. So it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. But, oh people, I will never abandon you. I will not abandon you. Look, there are some chiefs. I want to say to the hearing of all of you, go and tell whoever cares to hear. There are those I want to recognize as traditional rulers. There are people who said, no, I dared it. I dared it. I said I would do it. And I did it. I don't care what anybody will say today. Nobody bothered to recognize traditional rulers. From 1999 down to 2014, nobody in this, no governor. I said so. It was me. It was me that came. I recognized most of them. I see them as this and that. Rubbish. I did what I did because I thought, and I think up to now, is right thing to. I did it. It takes people who have goals, who have the balls to talk. Not those, the foundation has been laid. You now come, I want to make you first class. Who made the person second class? Who made him to class? Before you have to make him first class. Who laid the foundation is what is important. Be grateful to whatever God has given you. Is he moving?
Nuisance, Lele.
So that's with a wiki. I don't know if time is still going to permit us. I still do have a few other clips. So are you still with me? Or are you tired already? No, I still do have a lot. And then I'm thinking as well of taking calls. So you tell me, if you are tired, right, I will stop. But I'll also use this medium before we go to that of Fubara to say thank you to that my loan donor. Yeah, you want to remain anonymous, but I am grateful. So if you're watching this, say thank you to the missus for me as well. You get the two of you. Thank you so much. So someone gave me or responded to my support request for, for this studio and many other things that should have yet kind of lagging behind. So I was told that, oh, Maiyegun, can you just please take it? Let's wait till the month end. Listen, it's all voluntary, okay? My GoFundMe is back active. There is a PayPal link in this description that you can also use, okay? Usually, right, if I have like, let's say 2,000 of us watching on YouTube, and maybe like, let's say 150 people or 200 people watching on Facebook, right? So when you do the math, it's going to be like, oh, if those who are interested just gives like $1 or £1, that's the spirit of the crowdfunding. And I could easily just kind of like, get so many things done. But again, it is still voluntary, and I do not really have a way of pushing it, but I will appreciate every support. So I am currently working on, let me tell you this so that you understand that if we are just to do what we are doing now all the time, I could do this with, for as long as it takes. Even though having this office, like I told you, it's not just about the equipment, okay? It is mostly about what comes out from here, right? So I have still remained indoor. I need to get some people on board. And in this country, right, people don't do things for free. So that is why if I want to, it's making it difficult for me to actually really save, to put up some of other things needed. So we are planning to start a campus tour, okay? So I need 1 or 2 guys with me, and I'm also going to kind of put them on, so, and there are a few other things that are needed for outdoor charts. So I could be in your school. If you're watching me right now anywhere in the UK, so I could very soon I'm going to be like on your campus and ask you what's your experience has been like, what has been your challenges, where would you want any support, and finally, now that you are in the UK, maybe a year or 2 or 3, right? This was before you came to the UK, you had all this dream or this plan. Now you are here. So if you're offered the opportunity again, Nigeria, UK, which would you take after this past 2-3 years that you've been here? So all these kind of experiences of people who are new and those who have been here for a while, who want to go back, but they just, so we talk about all these things, okay? It is time to begin to bring real life experience where people will kind of have to share their experience and to help others, okay, in their decision makings and all that, okay? And yeah, I'm going to need your help. I really, really want to get them done or start them in June. So, maybe I shouldn't even name an amount. I promise you, right? It is just anything that I get around and I could put together will go a long way. So you, my donors, if there's any time I actually really need your quick support as usual, it is kind of now. So I have been here now for 3 months, and we have been active in this office for 2 months. I think it is time to meet the victims of Nigeria, those who jackpot and those who want to jackpot, but they are facing so much trouble in making up their minds, especially because of all these things happening in Nigeria. What does that even mean to you? What does that, you know what I mean? Like, I need to bring all this stuff to you beyond just telling you. And it's time for me to go out there. And I need your help to do that. I need a lot of help. So also, our brother, Polapenga, this our brother that is stuck in Dubai with his family. Tonight was meant to be the time we could like raise the fund for him, right? But like I said, the way I want us to do it, I don't want us to make it about money fund. So I actually really want people who are, I know a lot of you are really well-to-do, but I can't tell you what to do with your money. But there are some certain things you will do with your money that, you see, personal fulfillment, satisfaction, and then maybe the fulfillment of, what do you call that again? I think, faith, sort of, right? Where you just want to do something good, put a smile on the face of those who can't really pay you back. You know, that kind of feeling that you give help to those you are, they can't really give it back. You would rather just pray for them to, if once they kind of get themselves off the ground, they should just pass it on. Like, look for somebody else who also need help when they can and pass the help. So I'm looking for people who can pick up the tickets, like volunteers who can say, you know what, Maiyegun, like as you are watching me right now, if I'm speaking to you, if you feel like I'm talking to you, do it for us. You can do it anonymously, just offer. And I can tell you how many people we are trying to take back to Nigeria. And you could be that angel, right? Anyway, thank you. So again, I'm going to exhaust all my stuff, okay? Then we are going to probably take calls, okay? But yes, again, thank you so much. So Fubara was in Calabari, and he said he promised the people that he was going to not just say what Wike is, did, but he's going to show them so that it's just, it's not going to be like, so here's one of the clip. But please don't forget, right? Even if you can't give me $1, if you can't give me 10, if you can't, no, don't worry. That one is voluntary. But you know, other thing that you should endeavor to give to me before you leave is to like this broadcast. That helps. It helps greatly. Thank you. Now let's go to reverse again. Calabari.
The politics of our dear state, you understand that standing here today is a statement to the people of Calabari that we are with you, we will support you, we will improve the state of the 3 local government areas in this Calabari. I did mention to you that while we continue with our anniversary, this anniversary is not a year anniversary, it's a 4-month anniversary. If you understand when we were liberated, you understand why I said it's a 4-month anniversary. I mentioned that I'll be going with the white paper. The essence of this paper is to give you accurate records. Although the permanent secretary did mention a few things, and I know that when we leave here, some agents will want to say one thing or the other. So I came prepared. Let me also say it here. Maybe Julius Badger being a with presentation before my table or on my table as I'm talking to you today, there is a request for variation on the cost of the project. Because as at the time this project was awarded and while the project was ongoing, there was serious exchange difference. But I told them not to worry, that they should go ahead and complete this project, that we will sort them out. And they accepted. For the record, this project was awarded on the 18th of February by the immediate past administration. And in the month of March, the first payment for the project was done. And the next one was in April, and the third one was in May. The total value of this project is 21.2 billion. And out of that, 6 billion was what the previous administration committed. And when we came on board, we said, go ahead, that we are not cutting it short because we know that the project is for the benefit of our people. I can boldly say that the balance of 15.2 have been paid completely. So for those of you that are mathematicians, and even those of you who understand very elementary statistics, will understand that the extent of this job was done by this administration. Therefore, we can boldly say that this project was delivered by this administration. But it's not even an issue. It's not an issue. But the reason why we have to go when I say this line, is just to explain to our people so that you understand where we were and exactly where we are now. Originally, our mantra was supposed to be consolidation and continuity. And if that is our mantra, success of our administration should not be ascribed to anybody, but to the success of the administration, to the success of governance, knowing fully well that one will serve out his tenure.
I know. I just wanted him to state that on camera, saying that with a Wike paid 6 billion out of the 21 point something billion contract, so he paid it off, and he was showing them there. But Wike no go agree. You all know that, Abi. So I'll leave it at that. Let me show you something. Voila, wow. Just so you know. These are Fulanis in the forest, and they have access to this.
Wong ku jok ngil do. Ih, panggil ya. Wohin. Abdul Bata. Nggak pamang pinggir haur kan nggak? Nggak boleh.
In Nigeria, right? These Fulani terrorists, they have a TikTok. They have rocket launchers. They have some weapons that you can possibly only see at war-torn countries, where you will see rebels brandishing different, they do, and they have technology too. Before now, Boko Haram inside Sambisa forest, they have so strong, they have this strong signal that could upload 30 minutes video of Shekau ranting, screaming when he's high on drug. But the typical Nigerians in Nigerian city, they are still looking, where they are looking for network to upload their 12 MB. Terrorists were uploading 20, 15 gig worth of data on the internet. But you see why, I mean, normally, right? When you see a drone in the hands of young people, you could say, oh, what is drone? Drone is something you can just get anywhere and all of that. I know. But drone in the hand of a terrorist, young as, some of them as young as 14 years old, right? Well, that's a surveillance camera there. That's a surveillance equipment there. Number one, they are protected, okay? So it's not as if to say there is a drone watching them and, no. So that means they can actually spot advancing enemy from far. They can use their drone to surveil their surrounding, even when they kidnap people, right? They can use it. But now you might think it's stereotyping. No, those ones there, that video was put from TikTok. They have TikTok. Some of them will be brandishing pile of a Naira note on video, money like ransom paid to them, with their guns, AK-47 and all of that. And this is not stereotyping. I'm talking about those who have now, they are now using this technology to even track their victims, track those who are coming to pay them ransoms if they are being followed up. So is that not over, yeah? If they catch you with the drone in Ibadan, the Nigerian policeman will run crazy and they will tell you about the law that says you have to get this, you have to get that, you have to. But terrorists have access to these drones, right? Is it not finished? Where they can take pictures of a whole community. They can stay somewhere and send drone and take activities and monitor activities in the community before they attack. Okay, maybe I am going too far. I'll leave you with the rest of the imagination of a technology in the hand. And once in a while, when we see the snippet of these videos like this, they are just to show to us the real world we are living in now than the ones that these criminal politicians are telling you, don't worry, it's not that bad. Government is on top of the situation. They are not. They are not. Until that. Instead of, I hope the trouble won't batch at your door before you realize. Any trouble where, any trouble where go bring in terrorists to do what they know how to do best is easily avoided. But there are some troubles that, somehow they are unavoidable and they do make their way to the internet. You've heard about Eco Country Club. Is that what it's called? Lagos Country Club. Is that the same as Eco Country Club, right? Now, please correct me if I am wrong, okay? Isn't that supposed to be some kind of elite, old money guys gang club? Anyway, rich people do fight too, and they fight dirty. And I kind of love watching the rich people fight, but I don't know if these ones are rich people, if I'm actually wrong totally. But from a Lagos Country Club, there's a disagreement over leadership. One of them recorded a video, decided to entertain us with that. Are these rich men? I know. What was your boss? You know that kind of level, eh? When you see all these rich men fighting, have you seen them before? I have. Ori okpe kola ori okpe. Ah, that's Otumba. You see them, you say this one will be like ori okpe kola ori okpe. You are stupid, kola. You need. I am saying you are very stupid. Shame alone for sorry fun. I mean you the yeah. Jengbo boss. Ah, this is not supposed to be millionaires or billionaires. Can you believe? You were kind of, but you will never hear go ugly. You know, maybe one of them who was like a thug before he made money, and somehow the beast in him can come out, and that will be the puncher. You see, 60-year-old man, they hold the foot punch like that. Say, Rich Otumba won't record me. Otumba Kapasile, they are recording you. Otumba, le bosheti. So it can be very fun watching these guys fight. Then they'll start bragging about their money, about this. It's ridiculous too. But they are supposed to be some people's papa, right? So I'm going to close it now with this condolence video, which is shared about that. You remember that actor, Pope Jr., that died, that drowned. Now, I think he's been buried today. And yeah, Peter Obi was also seen with his widow. I'll share that with you.
That's what the Psalm tells us, right? That's what we believe, and that's what we're carrying on. And my mom has been so strong. She's been a source of strength for the rest of the family. Like on our text every day. Every day she's texting us, be strong, be strong. When they say they're strong. Be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. When came to Chukunazo, your dad, that's what he taught us. So this is God's purpose.
So may God continue to rest his soul. Such a young man who died in his prime, you know. And then finally, is it all right if I leave you with this warning? Just kind of a refresher reminder. It's still about Daobi. And it's coming from Weteru. Baba Aladiye Ikiti.
Yes, sir.
It's
This
been
Peter
negotiated.
Obi, I've told you, this Peter Obi, anybody who becomes president of Nigeria and does not give a right of place, I'm not saying an appointment, for Peter Obi, Peter Obi will remove that person from office in another election. Mark my words.
So are you saying this same wave
This same wave will not
can
stop.
be repeated?
This same wave, this Peter Obi, the people supporting him, the Peter Obi that I know, after this general election, they will continue.
Even though the next cycle of elections is in 4 years.
I'm telling you, those guys, yes, sir.
I'm telling you, and it's just to remind all of us that once they activate their obedient movement, a lot of you will begin to change your position. That is why, to the obedient, I am doing my best to see if I could help you to understand what you are about to get into. And maybe indeed from within yourselves, you could actually push for some of these things we are talking here and make them your conditions before going into another election. And they will do it. So I want to see if I can influence you to that point, right? So that will be my final one. So I'm going to take calls. And I promise you, right, we are going to use all the full hour for those who are going to call in and make their contributions tonight. But I want to ask you for the last time. Have you liked this broadcast? Have you? Please, come on. Somebody said, Maiyegun, I will make my donation after the show. I'm so hooked to this show. That's all right. But don't get too hooked. Not to go and like the broadcast, okay? Right. I am going to be back in less than a minute. So if you are still here, then call me, okay? And tell me what you think about tonight. Don't go anywhere.
Alhamdulillah. 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 Rabbil alamin. Alhamdulillah. Rabbil
Speak it, tongue go. I actually have a caller. You can speak it, tongue. Cassava gari, ewa. Agbado. Cassava gari, ewa. You can speak it, tongue. 10 million use you. 10 million use you. How are you doing, Baba?
Not too bad, man. Maiyegun, how are you today, my brother?
Very well. Thanks so much for your patience. Okay, I picked up.
Thank you, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Your sermon tonight is so interesting and so intriguing.
You know what? I didn't even believe I was already talking for like over 50. I mean, almost 45 minutes, and I was like, "I'll you present what you want to present." This one that you told yourself to like TED talker. So
you are a master storyteller, Maiyegun.
I'm trying.
I give it kudos.
I'm trying. As long as the message is delivered, then the job is done. Baba.
Thank you very much. You asked a question tonight, right? Which I'm very, very much interested in. You said, "What do you believe in?" I think I believe in nation building as against democracy. I don't think Africans are ripe for democracy yet. Right. Democracy is a coin word from the Western world. I think we have our peculiarities. You understand what I'm saying? That's right. The Western world, they have their peculiarities. For example, right, in the Western world, when there's a traffic light, right, People will stop for the traffic light. In Africa, it's a different ball game. Zebra doesn't work in Africa. Zebra doesn't work in Africa.
Like somebody ask you, can't you see the zebra crossing? Where are the zebra? Are you not a driver? Did they not show you that the zebra crossing? Or Nigeria no get zebra. So I'll use another thing crossing.
Yeah, I'll give you a joke, right? I was at the petrol station years ago in Nigeria.
Right.
I was buying petrol. The guy, the petrol attendant, you know, in Nigeria, they have to serve you. He had the nozzle in my car, and the guy behind me was beeping furiously. Kilo share, what's wrong with you? Are you mad? Why are you wasting your time? Why are you not buying? Oh, Tony. And the guy looked at me and said, Emma Dalon, don't listen to him. He's an idiot. I said, I know. You understand what I'm saying? And when the guy finished telling for me, right, I walked over to him, right? I said, why would I leave without filling my tank, right? Why are you?
It may even be like, do you want to buy all the petrol? You this all these rich people say, eh? You stay there, you know, do you want to buy everything, and you be like, what's my problem here, man? Nigeria is unreal.
While I was doing that, right, the next guy to him, right, came, say, why are you chatting with this man? Will you let him get out and let me feel your time? So it's all about impatience. Yeah. I think going further, right, I think our family, which we want to appreciate, right, failed Nigeria. They built Nigeria on a dangerous fault lines.
Very faulty.
Awolowo, Azikiwe, what they call it, Ahmadu Bello or whatever it's called. They all built Nigeria on a bigotry and a fault line. Because I remember then, Awolowo and Azikiwe, they have their embassy in London. The Southerners in the north have their embassy in Sudan. If you remember then.
That's right.
And that's how we built Nigeria.
They chose what their foreign missions will be. Yes. And they went individually, like separately, to pursue them. And indeed, you're right. Go, Baba.
Yes. And we expect that Nigeria will be one with those fault lines. It's not possible.
No.
And if you remember, Awolowo was the first person. I respect him so much, right? I think he's one of the best leaders Yorubas have ever produced, right? And Thiefnubu want to outshine Awolowo, which is not possible. Awolowo remain Awolowo forever. But on the other hand, Awolowo was the first person that taught Nigeria how to dethrone a king. You know what I'm saying? Remember, Awolowo dethroned the Alaafin of Oyo then when he became the premier of the Western region. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, going further, I don't want to talk. What my contribution tonight is that we Africans will have to believe in nation building as against democracy,
or develop our own kind of governance system.
Yes. What do I mean by nation building? Right? Take control of the system. Look, I'll give you an example. Right?
Right.
Every country that they've changed the political narratives. Right. Every country that they've changed is being done by the people.
Yes.
In Bangkok,
yes.
In Thailand, you see what they did when they are king, right? Years ago. You understand what I'm saying?
There's so much. Even in Ghana, they had to come together and change their name from Gold Coast.
Yeah. So
that was actually given to them by the British. Same way they said Nigeria. We couldn't even come together to say, wait till be our name? What should be our name? In all this disparity. We can't even come together and talk. They say, no, it's already sealed. And those behind that are the Fulanis. Because they believe that once we begin to have that conversation, it will come to light again that, you know what, here is your area, here is their area, and you will only represent such area.
Definitely.
You get what I mean? So we can develop our own type of system, right? Like the Ghanas did. They are not perfect, but they managed to say we are not Gold Coast. We are Ghanas. We are Ghanaians.
If even Cote d'Ivoire some years ago, they marched up to the president and overthrew president. Remember, Cote d'Ivoire did it as well.
Removed him.
Yes. We talk about Taiwan. We talk about Egypt. The Arab Spring started from Egypt. You understand that?
Yes.
Then we talk about the Central African Republic, right? Where only 3% Fulani, right? We are lording over them, and they have to change everything, right? They drove them away with hoe and cutlass. They drove the Fulani away.
Yes, now, before they become a bigger problem to their national politics. where they will now plant doubt, they will now plant division, they will now turn brothers against brother. They will say, oh, do you know that your brother doesn't like you because of your belief? And that's how they kind of destabilize the Hausas. I read the story, okay?
Yes,
they accuse their leaders of corruption, of lies, of this, of that, and they managed to get people who are like, who don't support their leaders at the time on their side. They formed the army. They killed their leaders for the Fulanis. Not as if like the Fulanis actually fought the war. They converted people to their jihadists. And those one believe that they are like, you know.
So and you see these politicians, right? When I'm talking about nation building, right, is taking control of the states, right, from the politicians, because the group of idiots we have our politicians now, they are all criminals.
Absolutely.
They are not there to help anybody. Tell me what they are built on since the British, right? For example, right, the British built the race system we have today in Nigeria. Since even Abacha built more roads, right, than all the government combined. You know, with the PTF fund, right, petroleum training fund, Abacha of all people, right, constructed more roads in Nigeria. All the local government roads within Nigeria today was done by Abacha with the PTF.
Look at that 11.6 or so kilometer third mainland bridge was constructed by Babangida, right?
Yes, third mainland bridge.
There's no civilian that has constructed anything close to it.
I went to an area in Lagos they call Ogijo and Igbo Olomu to Agric.
Igbo Olomu, I think I remember that place.
Do you know that there was a tarmac there constructed by Abacha with the PTF fund? You know what I'm saying?
That's remote as that community is.
Yes, very, very remote. When I say remote, very remote. You know where Igbo Olomu is very, very remote.
And now.
It's what I'm trying to say now is that this set of politicians we have in Nigeria today, like all these Wike and all, I saw the video you're playing about Wike, right? I had to phone River State. I have to phone somebody in Portharcourt, right? Who was on ground, one of my boys, you know, those days. Right. And I asked, I said, Friday, what did they happen for that River State self? What did they happen? Oh, now believe in Wike. Say, bros, forget them. Now, Fubara, everybody there for now. Everybody there for Wike. Wike wants to lord over us. I will not go let that ever lord over us. Wike is a chameleon. Wike is a snake. And Messi don't tell us before that time, say, no, we fear Wike. Now we know say Wike is a very dangerous guy. He shop all River State money. The money where this my Benzu, the guy was recounting to me, right? And this is a guy, he's not from River State. He's a Yoruba man that resident in River State. He just lived there. He was born in River State, right? He was telling me this. A Yoruba man was telling me they will live in River State. That everybody is for
like a lot of people have kind of like, you know what? If not for anything, just to show that where a Wike can be a godfather, they will be on the side of Fubara for that.
His reign is done. His reign is done.
I'll take another one, eh?
Yeah,
thank you so much, for stopping by. Okay, thank you. Now, sorry if you have been trying to get through and it's in like acting up. Let's hope I get to you. Remember, you need to like this if you haven't already. Hello there.
Hello, Maiyegun. Good evening.
Oh, good evening to you, Lady Charm. How are you this evening or this afternoon, rather?
I'm fine, thank you.
And I bet it's almost evening at yours too. Anyway.
Yes, it is. It's actually almost 5:30.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, here we are. Please.
Yeah, I mean, I've been enjoying your talk and enjoyed the first 40 minutes was just excellent. I know it felt like
I just kept going and going and going, and I'm like, man,
yes, but it's I think it's very necessary sometimes to provide context, especially when you want to dive into the main topic and everything. So, like I said, I found it very interesting, and I want to actually pick on some of the things that you said earlier on. But before I say that,
please
let me just tell the previous caller that said that, like Nigerians don't understand, red light and all of that. I want to ask him if he's ever lived in New York, because sometimes some people just say some things and just think, oh yeah, we're just going to throw this out there. I moved from UK to New York, and I can tell you that the red light is like a suggestion. They don't stop; they just keep going. So, and it was like a shock to me that people actually ran a red light and with no fear of favor, nothing. because
So
living in the UK.
you mean if I walk into the busiest part of New York, which is almost every part anyway, right? If I walk at the central, of New York, so to say, and I see a zebra crossing, right, or the red light that stops them and all of that stuff, I should still be very careful walking through, right?
Oh yes, you have to be very careful walking through those zebra crossings because or sometimes the people who are actually walking the zebra crossings and your car is actually has the right to move, but you have to wait because they're still crossing that zebra crossing. So I just think that it just really depends on where you're coming from, and I think that part of the problem that we have in Nigeria with regards to things like that is people are sensitized to the lawlessness of the country, not generally because they cannot respect the rules, right? But because they are sensitized to the fact that we live in a lawless society and we can get away with anything, right? They do that. But that's not. But what I'm also saying is that you have places like I live in New York, where when I'm driving, I have to be sure that the car that is coming is really actually going to obey that red light before.
That's another thing. Like that the light is green doesn't mean that you have to drive through all clear.
For me,
somehow I kind of do feel like that, especially when I'm driving at night. I just feel like there's some crazy because people have died where you are being careful, driving well, and some crazy guys will just come from nowhere and just turn day to night for you. It's not so rampant. So is there a thing there?
Yeah, I mean, I think the point I'm trying to make is that let's not generalize this thing and say that we all lawless, because in certain places, like I said, I live in New York, and I've witnessed where people just like I said, the red light is a suggestion. They're not actually going to stop. they'll just run through, right, and everything. So that's my own experience. But with regards to Nigeria, I'm just saying that people are sensitized to the lawlessness of the day, and that's why I think that's my own take on that particular. It just sounded funny when he said that. I was like, oh, he should actually come and live in New York, and I think he'll have a different.
Maybe your opinion about how these obey traffic laws and all of that will be different, right? So that's a good one. I mean, that's going to be my travel plan, my travel book, so that I will remember that. So
you're not going to use it as an excuse, anyway. So when you started talking about the origins of how Nigeria was amalgamated with the South and what the concessions that the British gave to the Fulanis, my question is why? What was so different about the setup of the Fulanis that made the British acquiesce to them? What was so different from our own organization in the South, Southwest, Southeast, that allowed that gave birth to them wanting to put us all together?
Do you know that you followed that time when we were reading that history, right? Charm, your question was primarily answered there. I will remind you, maybe that will kind of remind you more, including those who are listening to us, okay? So when they came, right, when they got to the conquered Hausa land, Lord Lugard, he sent a emissary to them to surrender and ready to come under his rule in the name of the king. So you see the Sultan then, number one, right, when the British came, automatically, the advancement of the jihad stopped. Okay? They now are to try to consolidate where they have defeated and conquered. Okay? So while they were doing that, so Lord Lugard sent emissaries to the Sultan at the time. I think it's the Sultan Bello. And they told him to come under the Lugard and the king. And that Sultan rejected. And he was deposed, removed.
Okay.
So his cousin, his cousin now accepted to be under them. Right? So by so doing, there was no resistance. There was no fight. So they just said, okay, since you have agreed to come under us, right? And you already have an established existing system, right? Now, here it is. You can continue with that. We're not going to touch it. Now, how did they now have orders? You see the Bornos, right? they actually fought war. The emir of, the king of Kanemi, I think it's emir of Kanemi or so, right?
Yeah.
They fought Lugard and they were defeated. So when they were defeated, right, they deposed their owner king and appointed another person who is ready to come under Lugard's rule over them. So when the time now come to amalgamate, what they now did in their colonial office was that they now drafted the people under that command, right? They now call them Northern Nigeria to start with, okay? But with the indirect rule, or with the Fulanis. So that then put the Sultan. They now say Sultan is the leader of all this region. And his idea of ruling, right? Is admissible elsewhere. They face problem. Nobody said they don't face problem, but that was how it was structured. That's how those places came under Fulani rule. Okay? And over the decades, they wanted to keep it that way. But over those decades too, Charm, people have been fighting them. No, we are not part of you. We will not be part of you. No wonder they unleashed this Jihad 2.0. That's what we're now facing, Jihad 2.0.
Which is on a different level.
The violence now against all those who have resisted the Fulani rule and control, and yet they still also do not agree with the British setup. Okay? And they need to be conquered properly so they can stop asking for them to be separated from the North. That's the 2.0 jihad we are facing now. It was all for this reason.
So I think the reason why I'm actually going back to the point that you were trying to make earlier on is because, as you read history, as you study history, and as you read what has been written, right, you start to get the sense that you're always never really getting the real picture of things, the truth of what actually happened on the day. Because somewhere you will read, like, for example, what they said about the Igbos being a very proud people. And
that's the one idea I'm here to answer you. Can I quickly say something on that, Cham? Very fast. Yes. The reason why the British, they were not interested in the South being in control was because the Igbos were the last. It was the last region to be captured. Because the Igbos, by their description, right, is in the interland, is inside. They were the last. By the time they will get to the Igbos, they have been so organized, advanced, that they automatically became adversary to the whites. So they have to fight them, right? So when they now fight and conquer the Igbos, that was when they now created the warrant chiefs, like the Obis and the rest of them, kind of, okay? So over time, they believe that the Southerners are independent-minded, okay? Yes. And the Northerners, as they put it, they are more calmer and ready to obey orders and follow orders. So the Igbos who fought them, when they call it the palm oil war, okay, to get the palm oil and all of that stuff. So that is why, till tomorrow, they did not trust the South, simply because of this independence of mind.
Of the nature of the people that they encountered.
It's always been like that, yeah, and they would not tolerate that, no.
Okay, so I think the point I'm also trying to make with regards to this is that when you read things like that, Maiyegun, when you read that, juxtapose that to them saying things like we sold our people to them to take as slaves. That doesn't make any kind of sense, because if you take a people who are proud and they're a certain way, the last thing they want to be doing is selling their people off as slaves. Do you understand what I'm saying?
The slave trade was before the British. Okay.
No, but they still took slaves. They still took slaves from.
Yeah, let's put it this way, okay? There's a group called the Arochukwu. They are the top slave traders in the Igbo land and the interland and everywhere at the time. So as part of those, the British used as an excuse to gain access to the interland. They said they were abolishing slave trade. Remember? Right? Yes. So they used them, even though they traded with them before. They traded with the Arochukwu, traded with all these slave traders, okay, to take people out. Okay. But they are still the same people used as the excuse why they want to come and liberate the rest, kind of. Okay. So this slave trade and the rest is prior to colonialism, before they finally come and like colonize. Slavery was before that, Charm.
Okay. So I think the point I'm trying to make is that sometimes with regards to history, and I'm not disregarding anything that you said, everything you said.
No, that's the history. Now, you know, it's pretty much as if like, if it doesn't suit someone's probably, you know, kind of what have you, is understandable, but that's the history. Slavery before colonialism.
Okay, that's the history.
Yes.
Right, but we know that the history is written by the victor, not the vanquished. So it will always be tailored to make the victor look good.
We've written our own, Charm. Don't make it look like we need to question what we already know. Because that's what you're trying to like make it now. Like we need to, not good that we don't question what we should question, right? But it's like now trying to punch hole in an already established fact from all parties.
No, I don't. Well, anyway, that I beg to disagree, but that's just one point where I disagree, because I still feel that there are holes in the history, even in the sequence of events and things like that. But again, like I said, I'm not
So
well.
Your point is that you don't believe that the Igbos sold themselves to slavery.
And not just the Igbos. I'm not talking about only the
others
Igbos.
too.
I think others. I believe that people were taken forcibly.
We did. We sold ourselves to slavery. We did. There are actually references in our land today. There are families that are slave traders in our lands today. Like history there, not told us by others. Like they are there. There are references. There are places there. There are families who are slave traders in Igbo land, in every land in Nigeria.
Okay,
there are established one there.
Before I put a target on my back, because these chat people are evil. So
no, it's because you see there are some things that when we learn them from history, right? Sometimes they are, like I said, right? Our ancestors, they were not all good or all bad. Okay.
I don't disagree with you, but I think the point I'm trying to make is that I'm at that point in my life questioning everything that I've been told, right? Just to get to the matter, because when they want to program you and make you feel a certain way or move you to a certain way, right? It's from just, you know, listening and accepting. Okay, they've told me this. Okay, fine, I'm going to run with it. But we never stop to actually look back and say, you know what? Has everything they've ever told us, is it true? Take on even like basic of COVID, right? But anyway, I don't really get much into that, but I just thought it was something that I needed to out.
No, it's good. Listen, curiosity, right, is a good thing. All right. But it simply means that you have a very, very powerful mind. Okay. That is to not just take everything the way they say them, right? But at the same time, too, right, with that same powerful mind, there are sometimes that we just have to accept some certain truth, even if we really want it to be something else, or possibly maybe there's something else that could make it not the way it is presented. At the same time, there's some hard facts. In that process, one just have to like, okay.
Let me just add this one quickly, because I'm sure other people want to call.
Go on.
But with regards to the Atiku Obi, what do you call it again? Alliance, right? I feel like Atiku is, I personally don't believe that everything that goes on in that region, we do it independently of the Western nation, people who have vested interest in Nigeria, right? And I also believe that I'm of the opinion that we should not form an alliance with anyone, right? I feel like what what you said at the beginning, after you talked, you went through history and everything, is actually something that we need to be pushing for. We have numbers, we have all the people, we have a lot of people, obedience, who we can start to talk about, the constitution and say, okay, if you guys don't change things, then we shouldn't be having an election. I feel ultimately
something that says, you know what? Yeah, before we participate in anything at all, we identify all these problems. They must be resolved before any other election. That can happen. I just kind of think that.
I 100% agree with you that this is the path that we should actually be taking. Not just be reacting all the time. Let us also set our own terms and conditions of whatever alliance is going to be, right? And I also agree with you that we shouldn't really be looking at how I put it, the country as it is. Maybe we've never been designed for this kind of democracy, right? Not because democratic, but because maybe it's just not our way, and it's not a bad thing for it to be our way. Maybe democracy is Western and it's for them, it's good for them. Maybe it's not good for us. Maybe we need to come together and decide exactly what type of governance works best for a particular region. You understand? So we should be able to start pushing for all of this. We shouldn't do any alliance. That's my own firm belief. There shouldn't be any alliance with Atiku and the rest, because when you start to have these alliances, right?
Then you have to do some compromises too. Like you get to a stage that you be like, Maiyegun, you know something. You are the one who said that if all of us have something, I don't think it's okay for you to keep calling Atiku. I'm like, oh, Jam, really? No. I'm just, I just thought like Maiyegun, like you just call him Atiku instead of Atiku. I say, they don't get my own sister anyway. I will stop calling them for who I know them as, okay? But I just have to let you, the obedient, knows that you need to compromise.
Calling them what they are. And just one last thing, right?
Yes,
I don't at any government that should come in, I feel like they should have prosecuting all of these criminals, every single one of them.
Don't make deal with them. Any alliance you want to go to that says criminals can get away, don't get involved.
Yeah. Don't get involved. They need to prosecute. When you think about all the monies that you talked about, trillions, billions, how can you let that go? I feel like one of the priorities of any government of the day should be to prosecute and jail and put all of this.
Retrieve all those money as much as possible.
Retrieve all those monies from home and abroad, from every single corner that they've had it in. If they cannot show any legitimate means of how they acquire that wealth, then it should be taken away from them and their generation. Let me go before that people have.
You really took your time this evening, okay? But it's pretty much interesting, all right? We kind of are all learning from ourselves, right? Charm, enjoy the rest of the evening, okay? Thank you so much. Now, that's Lady Charm. But may I quickly just say thank you, my dear sister, Ma. I know you probably wouldn't want me to kind of mention your name. I just want to say that I got your message, Sister Yinka, and I am wowed, all right? Because you were also the ones who also reached out and gave over £150 towards Polapenga's, return back to Nigeria, sort of a fundraiser. So I'm really happy to have you here, and thank you. God bless you. That's quite handsome. God bless you. Here is Adiola, ladies and gentlemen. Is that you?
Chairman,
Adiola.
I think I will probably dial it back a bit with Patutomi's interview on Arise TV, because when I was a young student, undergrad in Department of Finance, University of Lagos, I used to go for his plenary sessions, and he used to have all these bold ideas. But that talk with Arise TV just made me just say, you know what, I'm done. I am done. Because
is that the one that you were talking about setting up a movement, something new?
The cohort,
blah, blah, blah. Is that the one?
Yeah, the cohort. Yes, I'm thinking you cannot pour new wine into old wineskin.
No.
You will be worse off. Nigeria is, Nigeria does not punish its corrupt leaders.
No.
There's no track record of them punishing anybody for corruption. There's no demonstrable track record of punishing anyone. See the white lion or whatever lion he calls himself. He's inviting. He's reinviting. Anti-graft agency to come to his own hometown, as if it's Pablo. Pablo Escobar was the one that actually built his own prison to imprison himself at some point. The system does not punish.
Have you seen this guy corrupt at all? Issa Yuguda. That is the guy that stole 212 billion, 212, the name of my perfume, right? 212 billion naira is what this guy stole. EFCC took him to court. The case is still in court. He has been appointed as the chairman of the National Open University of Nigeria.
That means it. Yeah, that means he has immunity already. There isn't any.
They open shop for him too. All of them open
shop. There is no evidence of the nation punishing its corrupt leaders.
No.
So they will tie it under one thing before everybody will lose track of what's going on. Because that state, the way that state is constructed, it will make you tired and you will lose track of what's even going on. So it's a poorly constructed state. So for you to follow through anything, before you know, you forget about everything. See, the only time that country will change is when it comes to a grinding halt. It has to come to it, because see, a perfect example, look at the multiples, look at how much they spent. I think you were giving the numbers some few days ago about how much has been spent for senators and for their cars. Over 200 million.
Oh,
sorry.
We're talking about billion. They bought each car for 167 million.
Sorry,
I've forgotten.
Sorry,
each senator got a car worth
over 200
billion naira.
Over 200 billion.
Yes, now 245 billion was the total they got.
That's it.
For cars, for house innovation, for new house to be built, and other nonsense.
How much have they given for student loan that they haven't yet disposed?
No,
although
they have announced now that it's coming up soon. Have you heard? You should go and register.
So it's 10 billion. You are giving people loan without the ability to pay back, because there isn't any clear route for them to get jobs to repay it. So so you're looking at a multiple 20 times. 20 times. See, Maiyegun, see from this perspective, you're giving out 255 billion and you're giving 10 billion for student loan, right? So that's 20 times to an unproductive sector, to an unproductive unit. 20 times. The unit that is meant to create opportunities, solve problems, the extremely productive, your most productive demography is receiving the least. And if you see that trend, Maiyegun, what do you think could happen? Do you see any prosperity? Do you see any change? You are giving an unproductive group of people that are not able to pass laws or to review the existing laws that are flawed. You are giving them the bulk of all the benefits, and you are giving the ones that actually have future, that are productive, they're supposed to be productive, joining the productive force.
What about subsidizing Hajj with 90 billion? But the
90 billion
student loan.
That's 9 times. That's 9 times. That is 9 times. That means you've paid in one year what Thiefnubu will pay for his 8 years in tenure of student loan of 10 billion every year. So you are taking an unproductive group and you are pushing all the weight towards them, and you are lightly weighted on the part that you should be putting all your resources in, human capital development, which is the core of everything. So if you start seeing signs like this, Maiyegun, you don't need any preaching. You don't need any revelation. You don't need to do fasting and prayer. You have the answer already right in your face. This system has to go. It is not fit for purpose, and I really, really hope that at some point we'll start having that conversation. This is how we need
to work more on the the mental consciousness, political awareness, or political consciousness of our people. So desperately. But I'm on take if I tell us campuses across this place. All those ones that escaped from Nigeria, because we will radicalize them here.
Over 200,
if they think they have escaped, billion. You have not escaped though. Whether you spend 10, 15, billion. 20, 40 years here, reminded that you have to go back there
to an unproductive.
Adiola.
So for me, I can't reconcile that maths. Over 200 billion to an unproductive set of people that have not demonstrated passing any laws. The return on investment for the laws they are passing, I don't think, if you actually take a measurement of it, is nothing to write home about. So if you are now keep on sponsoring them and pushing the least of your weight, whereby you should be heavily weighted with education and empowerment and productivity, and you don't give it any. See, when I heard Politico talk, I said, man, I've lost hope, because I used to go to all his talks, because he used to organize talks on his birthday, University of Lagos, the birth of economics and the Department of Finance used to come together and listen to his talks. And he had all these massive, bold ideas. You will go in there, you feel this rush of adrenaline, you feel this rush of ideas. Even you yourself, you'll be excited to be Nigerian back in those days. But now I think they've got into him. You cannot start putting cohorts of people that are corrupt, and you are trying to see what will happen, to see how you can, slice and dice and, form a new, I think you call it a new breed or a new breed or a new breed. Which new breed? You cannot pour old wine into new, so old wine skin and new wine is a wrong combination. The only people that should be formed in a cohort is the older generation of them Thiefnubu that never wavered in the eyes of corruption, that stood firm. Those are the cohorts we should be having that conversations. Those ones that stood bold, that were incorruptible, those ones that did not waver, those ones that stood their ground. Those are the ones you'll be using. That's what Politico is talking about.
Exactly.
Encouraging them. Those in their 70s that fought through all the 70s. Those are the ones we should only be talking to, not the ones that have compromised everything. So that is the new tribe you should be talking about. I think that's what they use, the new tribe.
Yeah,
the new tribe does not consist. That new tribe must not consist of anyone that has been compromised. It should be a new tribe it should be a tribe of people that in their 70s, their 80s, their 60s, that have track record, that they never waver, they never join that bandwagon. Those are the ones that you should speak to the youth and to be empowering them. So on Portharcourt's one, I found that argument super flawed. So we shouldn't expect miracle, Maiyegun. Let us know what we are after. 245 billion for assets that would depreciate 10% on a straight line basis every year, to compare to education of people's minds that will create jobs, create opportunities. It is a massive mismatch. Now you want to dip your dirty hands into the pension pots, whereby you have no track record. You want to lift 5% to God knows what percent to invest in infra deals that you are never able to account for. So let us be clear, Maiyegun. There's nothing. Make we don't deceive ourselves. There's nothing. We just have to wait for this system to crash. It has to come crashing down.
It has to.
Baba, good night,
no
sir.
patch, no nothing. Adiola, God bless you,
No.
Thank you so much for that, right? Ladies and gentlemen, that's Adeola. I think I have another caller because of our time, starting late and other stuff. Is that okay if I ask us to take a look for the last time? See if you have actually liked this broadcast. As usual, your offering. Go take a look, because we are rounding up in about 10 minutes, right? I told you, don't worry, we'll use all the full hour as promised. But please, do not forget. Here, hello there.
Hello, Maiyegun.
Hello, sir. How are you?
How are you, my brother?
I am very well, nice. Surviving. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, my name is Victor, calling from Germany once again.
Vicky
my
Victor
second
from
time
Germany, Baba.
Exactly.
How is Germany this night?
Oh, well, great. The weather is beautiful, though it drizzled a bit today, but at the moment it's just moderate.
Fantastic. Enjoy it. Please enjoy it while it lasts, too, Victor. We are not always having them last enough, right? So
exactly.
Here we are, Baba. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, Maiyegun, my brother, I really want to commend you once more for this, energy draining job that you do every evening. In fact, if I don't listen to your program in one day, it's like I begin to feel like I'm missing. Something is missing inside me. The point is that Nigeria issue. I think if we start, if we don't address the issue of these punishments, people, stealing money with impunity, the basic problem that we have in Nigeria is this, what's it called? Immunity that they give to these people while they are in office. You understand me? I think it's high time they do something about this immunity that the politicians have in our country. They should get rid of it. Because it has created so much corruption that sorting out the problem of corruption has become, something that is, not possible, impossible task.
Something they are now telling us to get used to. There's corruption everywhere. Just pray to them that they do the right thing, okay? This whole thing that you are thinking that, no, but everybody is corrupt. But I'm not corrupt, so please don't say everybody, right? So they now turn it on you and say, everyone is corrupt. Let's just pray for them so that God can let them do something for us. Say, come on, no.
It has become a kind of, agreement between them where as long as you don't probe me, when I leave office, I'll make sure I pass the baton on to you, to you, so that even the next one that is coming, by the time they all see all these things, they've now come to, it's like they form a clique that, okay, you have to, come into agreement with me that you're not going to probe me when I'm leaving office. Whatever I do there, should be forgotten. And then that's the only ground that I will allow you to have, power.
Yeah.
Which was exactly what they did to Obi, because they knew if they have given that power to Obi, they would have all been in trouble, because the guys, the agenda that guy was putting forward,
it's like if it's such a guy that can be very precise. For example, where people needed to kind of be exposed or punished, it won't kind of fail to wield the stick.
Exactly. That was the mistake he made. He was putting forward everything that they now begin to see him as a threat that, if we ever allow this guy to come in, we are all in trouble. He will send us all to prison and things like that. You understand me? The best thing to do to these people, just keep your mouth shut until you get there. Don't let them know what you're going to do. You understand me?
But at the same time, not to tell them, because he said your shop cannot be on fire, yeah, and you are chasing rats. He said, I will not have time chasing people who stole money. Okay, I will do everything within my power to make sure that they return them. But you see what is left in that shop, I must make sure that the rats stop eating it first.
And they don't want that.
It's not going to. So it's pretty much telling them that I won't probe you because I won't have enough time to be spending probing people. Okay, but I will stop the stealing. I will stop the eating. I will make sure that it doesn't continue. Kind of like reassuring them that maybe that wasn't even enough, Victor.
It wasn't enough, my brother. Why that might be a good stride, a step in the right direction, so to say. If you don't have something that will be a deterrent to these people, they would never stop. They are gluttons. They will never stop. They never get satisfied. How can one man in his right sense loot over 200 billion and the other one is looting 80 billion and the other one is looting, they're all stealing billions, for God's sake. This is the money that could have been used in building our futures, our future and our children's future. Being, stolen and then, flushed down the drain. And they cannot account for it. And you want us to leave these people alone? Oh my goodness. If a person like me ever come into power in that country, man, I would lock these people and throw away the key.
That's why they will
never come out. Because there's no
working system, right? Victor, we say that all the time, right? They said, good people like yourself will never be allowed to get there. We say it flippantly.
This is the problem.
Say it like it's just like, it's a done deal. But a good system, will welcome people like you easily into that system. Into government. But a rotten system will prevent people like you, Councillor. You go try.
Oh my God. So heartbreaking.
Terrible. That's why we're asking that a lot of you who have influence in obedience movement and all of that, you should begin to kind of have this conversation around, should you go for an election in an already rigged system, right? They organize their spaces on Twitter, on everywhere where they discuss all these things, right? I would love an idea where the obedient influencers, for example, right, they begin to raise these questions. Not just asking that, is Obi going to leave us after, is he going to leave us next time? Now, if we go and vote, listen, don't go and vote when you already know the system is rigged. But use your number, pressure it, and put it in your ears to say, why not kind of go for the constitution reform or a new constitution, electoral reform, judicial reform, until we are satisfied that these whole institutions have been protected by law for real. There should not be any election. I wish all these guys could do that slowly, steadily. instead of promoting
Absolutely
idea
correct.
of Victor.
Absolutely correct, Maiyegun. And another thing is the issue of religion. The issue of religion is a problem to our political system in Nigeria. Do you know, until these people hands off the control of who becomes our president, let us separate religion from the state. Religion shouldn't be part of our state. We are a secular state, for God's sake. For crying out loud. Why should religion determine before anybody gets chosen as a president of Nigeria? They would have discussed this thing in their
Sokoto group here
for what? For what?
They won't even consider their members. But wait, if this whole thing is about religion, if religion is good in politics as they are playing it in Nigeria, right? Nigerian imams, they will meet with criminal politicians. They will endorse them after they give them bag of money. Now, in all of that, they will come out and begin to lie to their congregation. They will be shouting, Allah says, our Prophet Muhammad says.
Now they're not reaping the reward now.
Do you get that now? A pastor in Jerusalem will get this money. They will come out and say, God said, when God didn't, okay? And then lie to their people.
Right.
So if people can begin to understand that religion is politics in this regard, your pastor, your imam, your spiritual leader, or whoever all those fake people you have out there, you call your this, the moment they begin to tilt towards the rotten system, asking you to believe in God, just know that it has nothing to do with God. Religion. Victor.
Unbelievable. Yeah. It's a problem, my brother. It's a serious problem. We really have to do away with it, if Nigeria must continue. Otherwise, let everybody go their way, because the system is not working. We are all fed up. We are all fed up. For how long are we going to live like this for? Right? I took my children to Nigeria and they were like, oh, they love the country, but they just couldn't fit in with the way things were going on there. I was like, for God's sake, I can't take my children home. Why?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Victor. You have made a night tonight, and I want to say a big thank you to you once again, okay?
Thank you, bro. Please keep on with, carry on with a good job. You're doing a good job, man. So you're enlightening every one of us, and it's really helping out.
God bless you, man. Thanks so much for the support as well, okay? Send me well to the family, too. Nice one there, Victor. And Victor is going to be our last caller for this evening. So I want to say a big thank you to every one of us who's been part of this this night. And tomorrow is Sunday. Okay, I was probably going to come here and do our Sunday sermon, but I will say this beforehand, okay? I am going to be spending the Sunday with the family, but we are going to meet in the evening. That I promise, okay? And I want to say also a very big thank you to my dear lady, Yinka. So I don't want to give you the full thing, right? But I am personally grateful, okay? So, for your generosity. You see the bank details on your screen. That is the Diaspora Radio International's direct account. There are those who have asked for that. I don't like GoFundMe, all this online stuff. Can I probably make my support through a bank account? Well, that is one on your screen, okay? But there is one I want to remind us of. Mine is going to come in bits. Eventually, I'm going to get enough, at least I'm going to get support. That I am 100% sure. And for somebody like me, whatever comes my way, is going to be greatly appreciated. Because to me, every penny counts. But you see, when it comes to this, our brother, Polapenga, in UAE, time is of essence, right? Somebody's life is kind of put on hold as we speak, including that of his family. The circumstances that surrounded that, we all know. But right now, the appeal is to see any of you. I know some of you very rich guys who are watching this. But if I speak to you directly, I will be forever grateful to you. If I see any of us who can pick up the tickets, whether it's going to be 1, 2, or all of it. But you don't have to take all of it. There's no amount of contribution, donation that is going to be enough and timely to really support them. Okay? So he was here with us during the People's Parliament, remember? So he's not a faceless person. He's already put a face. I've spoken to him. His wife and then their daughter. Oh, I've got so limited time. The network was horrible. So I am appealing to those of you who have that capacity. I'm talking about those of you who have what it takes. Oh, how much is a one-way trip from UAE, Dubai to Lagos? And then you could probably pick that. Give me a call, send me a message, send me an email, and I will be forever grateful to you. So if you think I speak to you directly, please make my own a day and make a family smile. I would be grateful for that. I also have a lot of people who also kind of need support behind the scene. I am doing my best to take care of some of them without bringing them to you. When I bring them to you, it simply means I need your help. And if you have the capacity to, please do it. So thank you. I will see you again tomorrow. Until then, okay, don't leave without liking the chart. And good night.
Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number 1. Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number 1. Maiyegun ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ ará ìlú. Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number 1. Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube. Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number 1. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Maiyegun já wa sí. Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number 1. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number 1. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Maiyegun máa wí. Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number 1. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number 1. Maiyegun Diary, Diary Politico. Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number 1. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Maiyegun. Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number 1. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number 1. Àní Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number 1. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Maiyegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Ijó ìgbádìyẹ. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Bí pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Bí gómìnà kówó jẹ. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Ọlọ́pàá ti ń darí bá. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Òkúra olóṣèlú. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. súnraki.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnraki. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnraki. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o.
Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnraki. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnraki. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o, Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀, Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. Oníkan ṣáàtì ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o.
Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnraki. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnraki. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ òní fi wọ́n níran.
Kì máa yí ṣe eré, ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Kì máa yí ṣe eré, ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o, ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣà ìtú wọn síta.
Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnraki. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnraki. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ òní fi wọ́n níran.
Tẹnitẹni ọmọ Maiyegun ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́hún ṣọ́ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù. Lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù. Bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sì mọ́ bẹ̀. Èèpo ọ̀gọ̀ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́, ó ti jọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ bùyà. Àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o, ó kó ẹni tó bá dán o àkàmù. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnraki. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnraki o. Ẹni bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnraki. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnraki. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ òní fi wọ́n níran.
It's okay. Off your mind. It's okay. Off your mind.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don off mic, and if we talk, na 500,000 they go sama us call am hate speech. But fear not, Maiyegun don come. Him go torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people wey dey spoil our country. So my people make we laugh.
Oh yo yo, Maiyegun don come. Oh yo yo,
my people make we shout.
Oh yo yo, Maiyegun don come. Oh yo yo,
Maiyegun don come, man of the masses.
Oh yo yo, Maiyegun don come. Oh yo yo,
Maiyegun diary Politico.
Oh yo yo, Maiyegun don come. Oh yo yo,
this one na dey off in mind.
Oh yo yo, Maiyegun don come. Oh yo yo,
and he dey torchlight every corner.
Oh yo yo, Maiyegun don come. Oh yo yo.
Okay, Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power. Over naira, still them talk say make we off mind. But thank God say Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you loud down. Yo yo, Maiyegun don't come. Oh yo yo, my people make we shout. Oh yo yo, Maiyegun don't come. Oh yo yo, Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses. Oh yo yo, Maiyegun don't come. Oh yo yo, MaiyegunDiary Politico. Oh yo yo, Maiyegun don't come. Oh yo yo, this one not they off in mind. Oh yo yo, Maiyegun don't come. Oh yo yo, person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Maiyegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say MaiyegunDiary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you loud. Oh yo yo, Maiyegun don't come. Oh yo yo, my people make you shout. Oh yo yo, Maiyegun don't come. Oh yo yo, Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses. Oh yo yo, Maiyegun don't come. Oh yo
yo. Hello there.
Maiyegun làwa mọ̀, làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun làwa mọ̀, làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ ara yìí. Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube. Gbogbo ṣe ń lọ ní Maiyegun dá wa sí. Àṣírí ọ̀dẹ̀lú.
Thank you so much for joining me from wherever you are watching or joining. Please read the caption of the broadcast, the description of the broadcast. Share it. And by sharing it, that means you are inviting your friends and your not so friendly friends, even family, to join us and tell them, Maiyegun today.
Ìjọ ìgbádùn yẹn, àyẹ̀ tó ra lórí YouTube, àyẹ̀ tó ra ìjọ ìgbádùn yẹn.
Thank you so much. Atiku has released another statement bordering on this their alliance, and I want us to kind of review that too.
Yes,
I should share this broadcast. Thank you very much. In Kolu's voice. Listen, if you are new to MaiyegunDiary Politico, okay, somehow you may find the, the starting taking too long. I've had people say that many times, okay, but there's something you need to know. There are many programs on MaiyegunDiary Politico. And for now, more than 80% of the videos produced on MaiyegunDiary Politico are produced live. And we kind of liken ourselves in this temple like we are a community, while I am the preacher. So if you are expecting the congregation to come on and arrive one by one, two by two, so we do give them time, because a lot of people are not going to start with us. Immediately we go live. And that is why we give everyone time to join us, settle down, and then we go straight into it. So if you are watching a replay on MaiyegunsDiary Politico and you don't like the music, because the music itself is a message if you listen to it very well. But if you are the type that's, so impatient, or you are watching from Nigeria, okay, I don't think watching Maiyegun use the first 10 minutes to get everyone or majority of the people to have joined, okay? So, but don't worry, there will be short clips for the people who don't have that too much attention span. Those who can really, And on MaiyegunsDiary Politico, it is very, very expressive. I am very, very expressive. And that simply means I present my program not like your scripted regular TV or social media stuff, okay? I present my program by telling story. And if you are the type who don't like, all this one are story. So your attention span may not be for this platform, okay? But if you give it time, you're going to love it. Yeah. Just sequence it, see how you join and all that. So I could go on. I may be talking about something about this microphone. But in order to hit home my point, I may make references by digressing. So that is why it is mostly storytelling. But a lot of people kind of love it because it gets you to understand the issue kind of better, like by putting yourself in the picture and imagine how is it going to be like if you are the one that is being talked about in this instance. Oh, on this platform, in this community, sorry about that, we have managed to keep people's consciousness active. And I promise you, a lot of people appreciate that. So if you give it time, I'm talking to those who are new now. If you give it time, you will love it. Because a lot of people believes they know Nigeria, but they don't. Even myself, I thought I knew Nigeria, but I didn't. Until I actually paid enough to detail, not just riding and flying on the words of politicians, of your pastorpreneurs, of your sheikh, imams, and the rest of them, or babalawo, mamalawo, or those you call the elder statesmen. And that is why they said, if Nigeria is explained to you, to your better understanding, and you are not angry, no, it wasn't properly explained to you. A lot of Nigerians have questions based on the little they know. And everywhere, they speak the same tongue of, yeah, our problem is leadership. Oh, our people are too poor. In fact, managing to connect the dots. But not many have been able to put themselves in the picture. You know us, the moment we can have an alternative, and no matter how horrible things that are being reported, as long as it is yet to affect us, well, we can meet on Sunday for Thanksgiving, for the grace of God. So what we do on this platform is to go beyond and above the headlines, the stories, most of them including busting the propaganda of those who have failed in their responsibility as government. So that's what we do on this platform. So it can be boring, and sometimes people say it can be depressing, not by myself, but because of what they come to realize or understand. Answers to majority of your questions. So we now believe that the moment we are all conscious enough, whether you are rich or not rich, poor or not poor, whether you are educated or not that educated, right? Whether you are so exposed, well-traveled, or you are local, it doesn't matter. The moment our consciousness becomes so active politically, you remember I told you on this platform that you need to pay attention to politics, because politics decides and determines everything. Government, apologies to you, the religious people, because I do not mean to sort of condescend, okay? And I want you to please take that apology from the sincere part of me, okay? About what I'm about to say. It is not to condescend on you, all right? Government is more powerful than whatever God that you believe in, with evidence. And again, I'm not trying to undermine your belief in God, okay? With evidence. A government can wipe out and criminalize even that your religion. You can be jailed, you can be killed the moment somebody says that your religion is no longer acceptable. And your God cannot save you. Now, just that. Then a government, when you see if you understand what a government means, like a system, they have to be the ones to decide the standard or the quality of education, then access to it. Who will have access to what education? Government will determine that. Your government will determine when you are born and when you are dead. Yeah, they issue you birth certificates and they issue you death certificates, Abi. Also, a government has so much power, right, that it's the one that can only, that issues you your currency, the one that buys you everything you might desire. Now, the quality of people that goes into government, they really, really matter. And that is why where people are spending so much, despite their education or exposure, but they are still so much drowning in the bigotry, ethnicism, and religious fanaticism, where poverty, sort of thrives. And the amount of their education could not curb or end poverty or all these maladies facing Nigeria, because they are so invested in things that has no real value to them in reality. And they will kill themselves for it. So now, if people are conscious enough that you can still be very godly, religious, and at the same time sensible, without having to be a fighter for God, a strong fighter for God, who is so lazy to fight for himself, even in the face of a brazen oppression, is because that faithful person or religious person is not politically conscious. The government's policy will destroy education. It will destroy your businesses. It will destroy your hard work. Your effort will be so devalued by people who can't create wealth. And that is how important. That is why you see people who goes into government in Nigeria, they will foam in mouth tell you how ethnicism has divided us. Religions has sort of divided us. Tribalism is our problem. But when you look at their modus operandi, this is the source of their power. They promote them. They sponsor them. They ensure that people remain divided as much as possible. Even within a small enclave called states, you see so much monumental division orchestrated by politicians because you have allowed criminals to be in charge of your government, making critical decisions that are affecting millions of lives, while millions of people are so religiously conscious. They are so tribally, angered or triggered. But meanwhile, the poverty that is facing everybody is not sparing anyone. Whether you are a Christian or a Muslim, a Northerner, a Southerner, a Yoruba, a Gala, Isoko, Nupe, Tifi, Berom, Jokun, Hausa, Fulani, and wherever, then Igbo, or Ijo, Ishekiri, wherever you come from, you can live in denial. The moment you walk outside, you will see the failure of different criminals that has taken or been in charge of every institution in that contraption. Some people believe there are exceptions. How? When you have majority of, the criminals you put in your system have empowered, they have managed to arrogate so much power to themselves that they have become so powerful and more powerful than the people they were supposed to be representing. So then some people want to do the right thing within that. But you can tell from the north to the south, from the east to the west, everywhere the poverty stares you in the face. The insecurity scares you to death, right? The dilapidated infrastructures ranging from roads to rail, to schools, to hospitals, to important infrastructures are so much depleted because you have allowed criminals that have used the biases of your tribe, the bias of your ethnic, your religion, and so many other sundry stuff to cower you and kept you divided so that they can continue to keep power. Political consciousness. The moment a lot of you begin to understand that everything is political and even your religion is also political, and the moment you are so conscious enough, the less you'll be played or be vulnerable to be played. And that is why you are on MaiyegunsDiary Politico, where you are going to be reading beyond the headlines. And you are also going to be seeing the characters parading themselves as those in charge of Nigeria, ridicule themselves. Embarrass some of you to the point that you laugh. You laugh to scorn in most cases, right? These are the clowns who are going to determine and decide what your future, my future will be like if we continue to stay aloof or maybe pretend that if it is not happening to me, maybe it is just being exaggerated. No, it is not. Now, here is another part. A lot of us have different solutions to what we believe could help to save our species. The first discovery is that Nigeria is a lie. And there is no amount of denial that is going to change this lie to truth. But the main question you should ask yourself is this. If Nigeria was to be a great country, okay, as they tell you that Nigeria will be great one day, if Nigeria was to be a great country, in your own opinion, no, I'm not trying to, I want you to kind of feel neutral now, what I'm about to push to you, okay? If Nigeria was to be a country, shouldn't Nigerians have a say in that foundation? Okay, you don't have to answer that, all right? But here is the next one. Have you, by any means, seen any country created by the colonialists that are still practicing, okay, maybe not the French ones who have now liberated themselves somehow, right? Have you seen any, probably the British created countries, okay, that still kind of exist on the template of the minority, feeling the entitlement to control the majority as a means of balance of power? Do you? Okay, you don't also have to answer that, because sometimes some of these questions, right, they are rhetorical questions. They answer themselves. You are likely going to say no, or maybe yes with examples. But let me put it this way. Nigeria has over 250 identified ethnic nationalities and tribes. So let's kind of break that down for the layman's understanding. Tribes are the small group of people, okay, who speaks the same language, culture, right? Ethnic, when they say ethnic group, this is like the group of tribes which shares a lot in common, like language, culture, tradition, maybe religion, and they may have a lot, or again, because they also shares ancestral, affinity with themselves in a particular geographical settlement. An example is this: when they say Igbos, within the Igbos, you are going to see other smaller tribes, okay, who are part and parcel of Igbo people as a larger body of the Igbos. Another one is the Yorubas. When you look at the Yorubas, the Yorubas are the conglomeration of tribes who share so much in common, and for so long, historically, right, and with this affinity and land and all that, right, they've existed as kingdoms. I'm sorry, as kingdom before the advent of the colonialist. So within Yoruba land, for example, you will see the Ijebus, you see the Oyos, the Egbas, you will see the Ekitis, you will see the Ondos, you will see the Oshuns, and you will see people also from the Ikales, the Eguns, and this conglomeration of us, right? Dialects is what makes us a little bit differ. And that is the tongue, which a lot of us call the accent, kind of, the dialect of how I'm going to pronounce a bottle. So what another person who is also a Yoruba will pronounce a bottle. No, because of this, right? You can now say, oh, the Hausas, you have the Hausas, okay? Within the Hausas, you have other tribes within the Hausas who identify as a body of a kingdom of Hausas. You have the Kanuris, Within that space of the Kanuris, you also, you know, like that. These are like ethnic groups, right? But within them, they have different tribes that they share affinity in lands, language, religion, tradition, and so many. This is why they said, if Nigeria, breaking up of Nigeria, okay, is to say, all of us that are forced to this contraption today. And if you want to know how this contraption is in fact created based on the political arrangement of the British, let me remind you. You see the Adamawa you see today, who is part of Nigeria today, is originally supposed to be under the French Cameroon. And you know, you see today's Bakassi Peninsula, Southern Cameroon. You see the entire Southern Cameroon where they speak English is supposed to be part of Nigeria today. But because when Uthman Dan Fodio staged his jihad against the leaders of the Hausas in 1807 or thereabout, when the jihad started, and the Fulanis accused the Hausa leaders of being corrupt and ungodly, two elites who just want to enjoy while their people suffer. So the jihad succeeded in the part of Hausa land. There is a part called which is the Gobir, the old Gobir, and some of us call it Gogobiri or Gobir. So Gobir is where they now situated, they call Sokoto today. Now you see that jihad is even like, it's kind of only partially succeeded in Hausa land. It did not get to Borno. You see that Borno, Bamunda, all those areas, they were supposed to be part of the old Cameroon because they resisted the Fulani then. Now, when the British came, they slowed down the Borno people rejected them and defeated them. The Middle Belt and the Berom, the TVs, the Jukuns that are now fighting themselves today, they bonded together, defeated Uthman Dan Fodio. It was actually that fight that killed him. Now, British came. When British came, it was actually through conquest, okay? That was how they conquered the northern part of Nigeria, including the Borno Empire, okay? So what did they do? The British now, in order to create a northern Nigeria, okay, they had an agreement with the Fulanis, kind of like, we'll leave you to do your thing. We are not going to touch that. So you continue ruling the people the way you want. And then as long as we get what we want as well, then we are fine. That was the arrangement. But you know, the British now ended the Borno Empire, which cuts beyond today's Borno, Nigeria, and spread to the other part of the Adamawa, the northern Cameroon. The British, having got that, right? Or sorry, they bought it. In fact, they actually bought that from the Cameroon by renegotiating, the Borno Empire that falls into part of Nigeria. Now, here's why. The Fulani Jihad couldn't proceed to capture any other land. So when British came, they kind of settled with the Fulani. Okay, you know what? We're not going to touch anything you are doing here, okay? But we're going to create or try to bring all these other countries, because they were supposed to be their own countries. I'm going to bring them all and fuse them and create a northern Nigeria, right? And creating a northern Nigeria means the Fulani Sultan, which happened to be the grandson of Uthman Dan Fodio, was kind of like put in charge this time around, including the land that his grandfather, Uthman Dan Fodio, could not conquer. So British gave that control and said, this is northern Nigeria. So they bought that part of northern Cameroon, added it to Nigeria to create the northern Nigeria, the biggest, so that it can suit the arrangement of northern Nigeria is more populated than the south. And therefore, they will give them the power to control the government. But down south, the Bakassi Peninsula, Calabar, down to the southern Cameroon, to this part of southern Cameroon, they were originally part and parcel of southern Nigeria. But in order to whittle down the power or the strength of the southern Nigeria they wanted to create, they decided to give independence to southern Cameroon. And when it was time for them to cede it to France, they did not even blink. They just gave them to France. That is why the southern part of Cameroon today, they speak English, because until 1947, 48, they were part of Nigeria. But when they were scheming for independence of Nigeria, southern part of Cameroon today, being part of southern Nigeria, will continue to give southern Nigeria the edge which they have had in education, they've had in secretariat management, government business, and the rest of that, which northern Nigeria didn't have. They did not open the northern part of this Nigeria they were scheming and putting together. They did not open it up to the rest of southern Nigeria until 1952 or 1953, just few years before independence. So what am I trying to bring up here? British created this arrangement to suit an agenda that never for once secured the consent of all of the fused countries. And since then, they said we should go and make it work. It's been